Chapter 139. In an instant, thousand snow flowing cloud activated, bloodshed, without any hesitation and used, thousand flashy scattered blades, on empty HP. Everyone around him fell to the ground, including the wandering rabbits. Nearby thousand snow flowing cloud, heal me well. In that instant it was like Luo Qingqian's world had been frozen in time. System, I was playing the game and forgot to ask you, what is the male lead's? Oh no, the passerby's affection for the female lead? 0? 20% for the previous host. Damn, where did this 20% come from? Could it be that the host doesn't understand why the quest panel would give you an online name and a real name? How could I understand if you don't tell me? But, Mu Qianlu? Thousand snow flowing cloud? The host will know when you go to work tomorrow. Please don't ignore the systems panel for the host, alright? I remember, the previous host remembered that Mu Qianlu was the boss of the V group, which meant, damn, they knew each other in real life? There was a time when the previous host was working overtime at the company and there was a territory battle over the weekend, so she opened the game. But she never thought that Mu Qianlu who was passing by would see it. He recognized the previous host's ID and had a 20% affection. Powerful. No wonder I didn't know. This was something that the previous host didn't know about. How could I know? Dumb host. Moreover, it wasn't just the passerby Mu Qianlu, the supporting female lead and male lead also worked at the V group. WTF, this is simply too much. But there was a question. Since Thousand Snow Flowing Cloud knew about the previous host, why didn't he appear when the previous host was being forced? So his identity was a passerby because he didn't play this game before that. Luo Qingqian nodded in understanding and turned her eyes back to the game panel. It had to be said, the appearance of Thousand Snow Flowing Cloud had filled the entire capital city with excitement. This was the like summer flowers, server's most interesting battle in history. After all, the previous host who was in a casual guild never participated in fights. Nearby, several young girls. Great God Thousand Snow. Nearby I am Death God. There's a good play to watch now. Nearby Lemon Heart. Damn. He even brought helpers? Nearby Yang. Lemon, you mean that the 9 people demonic year young master brought aren't people? A world, Wansheng Gambling House. The person who placed the bet just now is here for a refund. Don't open a bank. A world. Candy Consort, Wansheng Casino, how can you be like this? World, Wansheng Gambling House. I'm at Sulan Bridge. If you want a refund, come quickly. Otherwise, I'm going offline. World, different fireworks. He's afraid of going bankrupt. Luo Qingqian's face was in a daze for a full 3 seconds. She immediately came back to her senses and instantly switched to the light type to restore Thousand Snow Fleeting Year's health back to full. Then he used a soul ban to control Demonic Year Young Master. Then Thousand Snow Flowing Year used his little skill, /Clear Sky, to slash at Demonic Year Young Master who was currently being imprisoned. Nearby King of Assassination. Demonic Year Young Master has been sealed by Donghua Qinjin and Demonic Year Thousand Snow isn't releasing his 3-star peerless skills. Since he's only using small skills, what a joke. Nearby different fireworks. You don't say, Great God Qianxua's little skills are still very painful. A normal Light Blade's little skill would only deal around 100 damage, but Thousand Snow Flowing Year's little skill could deal over 1,000 damage. Nearby Demonic Year Young Master. Thousand Snow Flowing Cloud, what do you mean? After that, when Demonic Year Young Master's CC came off cooldown, Thousand Snow Flowing Cloud used his big move and killed him to the ground. Nearby Thousand Snow Flowing Cloud. That's what it means. Luo Qingqian thought that Thousand Snow Flowing Cloud was simply too handsome in that instant, alright? Chapter 140. Horn, Star in the Night Sky. Let me be a tycoon and use the horn. This is simply too handsome. World, strawberry sandwich. Like summer flowers, I only admire great God thousand snow when it comes to being handsome, not to flirt with girls. World, different fireworks. Why do I feel that great God thousand snow and great God Eastern painted are a perfect couple? Ding, affection has increased by 10. Mission completion rate is now 30%. Favorability. Great God thousand snow is so powerful. It had to be said, this increase in affection was very strange. The great God was teased by the crowd and he actually gave her affection. But the one she should be paying attention to the most right now was demonic year young master lying on the ground. She saw him revive in the transfer array and instantly disappear. Then she activated all-mouthy king mode. Cross-server like summer flowers. Demonic year young master. You all just wait for father. World, lamb, damn. Demonic year young master is also on the cross-server. Is he going to start farming? World, lemon heart. Young master is so handsome. It really is our young master. World, strawberry sandwich. Your young master? Ha ha ha. That person who changed to only love young master isn't coming out to say anything? Cross-server like summer flowers. Thousand snow flowing cloud. Waiting for you. World, different fireworks. What the hell? World, lamb, my God. World, little rabbit in the zoo. God. Great God thousand snow is actually helping great God Eastern painted cross-server. My young girl's heart is about to pop out. World, baker. Little rabbit in the zoo, what young girl's heart is there for two men? Pooh! Luo Qinchin saw the interesting conversation in the world chat and couldn't help smiling. World, only love young master. Stop arguing. It's all my fault. It was my appearance that caused the conflict between young master and big sister fleeting time. I deleted my account, I'm sorry to everyone. World, lamb. Delete. World, candy consort, please delete. World, different fireworks, quickly delete. World, demonic year young master. Who cares about you trash, a bunch of trash with low battle strength that can't even compare to father. Baby, don't listen to them, I'll protect you. World, yang. Manual vomiting. World, demonic year young master. Father still wants to say something, life written in water you bitch. World, lemon heart, you're right. They deliberately slandered young master because they wanted to be together. Cross-server / like summer flowers, Eastern painted brocaded. Sorry to disappoint you guys. After all, I like men. She narrowed her eyes and the smile on her face grew wider. After all, she had to walk the path of flirting with the Almighty and never give up. In that case, he had to start fast and early. Cross-server / cloud shepherd Shueshi. Summer Flowers' high-level battle is really amazing. The next second, the world chat was flooded again. World, little rabbit in the zoo. Wah, great God Eastern painted actually. So direct. World, rain God, God, do you like me? Logically speaking, although my battle prowess is a bit weak, in reality, I am still very burly. Most importantly, I don't mind. You know what I mean. World, candy consort. Rain God, where's your face? World, rain God. For the great God, I can give up. Cross-server / like summer flowers, Donghua Chinjin. To be honest, I prefer the great God with higher battle prowess than me. World, different fireworks. Oh my God. Great God Eastern painted, you're too awesome. World, yang. This is my first time hearing someone describe gays in such a beautiful way. World, only love beautiful legs. I'm a Yunjin couple. Chapter 141. Mu Qian Lu on the other side of the computer slightly relaxed and his lips curled into a smile. Ding dong, a series of sounds rang out in the guild channel. Guild, cold moon heaven light. Big brother, what is your situation? Guild, autumn twilight. What the F*** CK? Thousand snow, you, what is your situation? Why didn't you find me when you were gay? Guild, sweet smile. Thousand Snow. Didn't you say that you didn't have contracts in this game? Guild, Thousand Snow Flowing Cloud. That was before. Luo Qingqian felt her heart skip a beat. She never thought that Thousand Snow Flowing Cloud would be this direct. After all, a great god should be cold and aloof. She opened her inventory in the game and used the godly 1,000 miles to directly teleport to the contract location. Ding dong! A crisp friend request rang out and her lips curled into a smile after she opened it. Player 1,000 Snow Flowing Cloud has requested to add you as a friend. Do you accept? Yes/no. Luo Qingqian's finger slightly moved and she pressed yes. PM, 1,000 Snow Flowing Cloud. Do you want to come to our guild? She was a bit stunned. A great god really was a great god. No, a boss really was a boss. Not only was his words direct, he also had a clear goal. PM Donghua Qinjin. This is the reason why you signed a contract with me? PM 1,000 Snow Flowing Cloud. No, PM Donghua Qinjin. What benefits do I get from going to your guild? Actually, she was planning on going since she was in a casual guild. If Demonic Year Young Master found people to bully her, she would have the same fate as the previous host. Not only this, she would also affect many life skill players in casual guild. PM 1,000 Snow Flowing Cloud. Join our fixed team and open all the dungeons, new dungeons without any guides. You can take Li Guang's equipment first. PM Donghua Qinjin. This good? Doesn't this need to be discussed? Luo Qingqian softly blinked. So there were times when a great god would use his position for personal gain. PM 1,000 Snow Flowing Cloud. No need, we don't have Li Guang in our team. PM Donghua Qinjin. He de. She thought that the great god was special to her. Player 1,000 Snow Flowing Cloud has requested to join your team. Do you accept? Yes/no. She immediately clicked yes. The next second, before she could react, a series of announcements popped up in the World Channel. Announcement. Player 1,000 Snow Flowing Cloud has generously gifted player Donghua Qinjin Jade Ring. Intimacy plus 500. Announcement. Player 1,000 Snow Flowing Cloud has generously gifted player Donghua Qinjin 1,000 Colored Rose. Intimacy plus 1,000. Announcement. Player 1,000 Snow Flowing Cloud has generously gifted player Donghua Qinjin 3 Life Colored Glass Stone, increasing intimacy by 2,000. World Candy Consort. Boss Qianxue, please accept my respect. World Yang. Demonic Year Young Master, do you see this? This is the correct way to open a contract. World Stars in the Night Sky, right? If Demonic Year Young Master and that Only Love Young Master didn't do activities together, how could they have 3,000 intimacy and instantly form a contract? As if possessed by Sherlock Holmes, many onlookers around the world analyzed the matter from beginning to end. Luo Qingqian's eyes slightly lit up. Looking at the system notification on her screen, she was stunned for a full 5 seconds. System Donghua Qinjin. You are willing to become soul mates with 1,000 Snow Flowing Cloud. Holding hands from now on, meeting each other until their hair turns white, reaching the ends of the world hand in hand? Yes/no. After a while, Luo Qingqian clicked yes. A system announcement instantly popped up in the World Channel. System announcement. 1,000 Snow Flowing Cloud and Donghua Qinjin have become soul mates at the place of the contract. They will never let each other down in this life, never leaving each other. Announcement. Player 1,000 Snow Flowing Cloud has set off the love of a lifetime. Fireworks against player Donghua Qinjin, lighting up the entire starry night. Ding, affection has increased by 10. Mission completion rate is now 40%. The real system's notification sounded in her mind. After being reborn, these 520 RMB fireworks were actually set off for her by someone else. Chapter 142. PM 1,000 Snow Flowing Cloud. Leave the guild, I'll add you. Luo Qingqian thought about it and softly typed out a few words. PM Donghua Qinjin, 3 minutes. PM, thousand snow flowing cloud. Alright, I'll go make a cup of milk. Aya, Luo Qingchen couldn't help laughing in her heart. They had just signed the contract and the great god was already telling her where to go. Her fingers moved and she opened the guild channel to send a message. Guild Donghua Chenjin, many thanks for everyone's care. In order to prevent that idiot demonic year young master from causing trouble for our guild, I'll be leaving first. If you want to help with dungeons in the future or fight on the battlefield, you can directly message me. Guild, Stars in the Night Sky. Great God Eastern Painted, don't worry, I'm not afraid of young master wanting face chasing after me. Guild, Rain God. Ha ha, at worst we'll just wait for him in the wild while we're doing quests. Guild, How to Remember Old Feelings. Eastern Painted, thank you for choosing a casual guild like us. Not only would you not get any resources for the territory war, you would also have to bring new players into the dungeon. Guild Donghua Chenjin. How to Remember Old Feelings, the guild leader is fine. Guild Little Dodo. Great God Eastern Painted, you want to go to Drunken Dreamland, right? Guild Donghua Chenjin. Guild Little Dodo, alright. We'll beat young master wanting face in the territory war. On Friday night. Guild Donghua Chenjin. Definitely. After saying this, she clicked to leave the guild. Ding dong. After that, a system message popped out. System, your contracted thousand snow flowing cloud has invited you to join the guild Drunken Dreamland. Do you accept? Yes/no. God, this great god's speed was a bit too fast. She immediately clicked yes, and then a public announcement appeared in the world. Announcement. Great God player Donghua Chenjin has officially joined the guild Drunken Dreamland. Normally speaking, when the top 10 players of the region joined a new guild, there would be a notification from the Great God system. This would also let normal players know the Great God's new movements. World, thinking of the red dust. Damn. I feel that Drunken Dreamland is about to dominate the game. World, demonic year young master. You want to dominate with an extra liguang? Young master was laughing his head off. World, love to brag. Support Gongzi, support Sword World. World, Yangianjiang. You love to brag, you really love to brag. World, Cold Moon Heaven Light. Don't talk nonsense if you can fight. We'll see the results of the territory war tomorrow night. Then, welcome Great God Eastern Painted. That's not right. Should I say Qianchua's contract? World, Candy Consort. Haha, catch Cool Moon. Luo Qingchen once again opened the ranking list and saw Cold Moon Heavenly Light's name. He was a Jade Virtual Realm expert. He was ranked 7th in terms of combat power and 5th in the martial arts tournament. It seemed like his operational skills were pretty good. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. Within a few seconds after she joined the guild, not only was the world channel flooded with messages, but even the guild was flooded with messages. Guild Autumn Twilight. Welcome. Guild Cold Moon Heaven Light. Welcome the number 1 player, Li Guang. Speaking of which, Thousand Snow has wanted to pull you into the guild for a long time, but she never had the chance. Guild Thousand Snow Flowing Years. Coo. Guild Warm Light Flower Wall. Great God Eastern Painted, please take a picture. I'm your little fan. Guild Autumn Twilight. Warm Light Flower Wall. As my contract, you're trying to seduce a great god in front of me? Guild Warm Light Flower Wall. Oh. Great God Eastern Painted is secretly asking for a picture. I'm your super little fan. Guild Autumn Twilight. Guild Donghua Chenjin. I'll wait for you at the Surging Bridge. Guild Warm Light Flower Wall. Alright. I'll immediately travel 1,000 miles. Chapter 143. Looking at the time, it was past 11 at night. She still had to go to the company for her internship tomorrow, so she should just wash up and go to sleep. PM, Donghua Chenjin. Great God, I'll be going first. PM, Thousand Snow Flowing Cloud. Just call me Thousand Snow, good night. Mu Qianlu on the other side of the computer saw her icon turn dark before exiting the game. Without knowing why, he was actually looking forward to tomorrow. The next morning, Luo Qingchen wore a large red elk coat and happily headed to the V Group to work. But the moment she arrived at the company, the supervisor called for a meeting in the design department. The main contents of the meeting were: 1. Increasing the lighting of the scene. 2. Investigating the income and age of the players. 3. 4. 5. Luo Qingchen felt her mind go blank, but there was only one sentence that was deeply engraved in her mind. Work overtime tonight. Work overtime tonight. Work overtime tonight. What happened to the territory battle? How could she work overtime? What are you in a daze for? It's all gone. Her fellow original artist Xiao Chun patted her shoulder as she spoke. After that, Luo Qingchen charged into the supervisor's office like she was on rocket boots and knocked on her door. That supervisor. She saw the supervisor talking on the phone while smiling. All right, I'll arrange it now. Director Mu, please be assured, please be assured. After saying this, she slowly put down the phone and quickly returned to her paralyzed face. She looked at Luo Qingchen and said, "What is it?" "Supervisor, I have something to do tonight, so I might not be able to work overtime." Luo Qingchen's lips curled into a faint smile as she spoke. The supervisor knit her brows and said in an impatient voice, "I have to go to a meeting right now. Your design department was supposed to be managed by the development department for the next few days. But Director Mu said that the original Art 4 Heavenly Sword's new characters must be placed first, so he will personally take over your department." Ha! Luo Qingchen looked at the supervisor in front of her in a daze. She bit her lip and said, "You mean that if I want to take time off, I have to find Director Mu?" But I'm telling you. If you want to stay in this company forever, don't ask for leave." The supervisor rolled his eyes at her and said, "Boss Mu has just taken over the design department and you're going to ask for leave. Aren't you looking for trouble?" When Luo Qingchen heard this, she couldn't help but laugh in her heart. Mu Qianlu really thought that she was pure. Could it be that she didn't know why Director Mu personally took over the design department? After walking out of the director's office, she carried her cherry-colored satchel. This satchel seemed to be the original owner's favorite bag. She also thought it was very beautiful. She pressed the button for the elevator to the 20th floor of the general manager's office building. She felt her heart pounding. There were only two strategies in her mind. 1. Reveal her identity and expose her way of flirting with her Prince Charming. 2. Hide what she knows and keep Mu Qianlu in the dark, not knowing that she knows about this matter. They walked on a path of mutual flirting. To be honest, Mu Qianlu should prefer the second one. After all, in the Almighty's eyes, she was still a cute little lamb who didn't know anything. All right, then she would relax a bit and wait for the Almighty to flirt with her. Although she felt that she might forcefully flirt back. Chapter 144. She took a deep breath and followed the beautiful secretary in. She felt her heart beating very fast and even her palms were sweating. "Director Mu, the person is here." The beautiful secretary's enchanting voice came from beside her ears. After that, the office door was opened. When that ray of sunlight shone on her face, she was stunned. The golden sunlight fell onto the mahogany desk, and the person sitting at the desk was wearing a clean white shirt. His face was carved like it was carved, and his angular face was strangely handsome. The fingers holding the pen were clearly defined, and with a slight movement of his hand, there was a sha sound on the document. You can leave." He slightly looked up with deep eyes and a faint smile on his lips as he looked at Luo Qingchen in front of him. Without knowing why, seeing her red elk dress with the youthful aura of a student, he couldn't help feeling a ripple in his heart. Hearing his slightly magnetic and cool voice, she felt her heart skip a beat. There was a numb feeling in her ears and her face couldn't help blushing. "Host, your face is actually red." The system's mechanical voice rang out, scaring Luo Qingchen. Aya, a normal person's face would turn red when seeing a handsome man. Could it be you're not red? I am the system. That's right, you're not human. The system helplessly made a non-existent expression. It felt that there was something wrong with it. Why did it have to speak? Director Mu, hello. Luo Qingchen moved forward with light steps and said with a sweet smile, I am the original artist of the design department, Luo Qingchen. She felt that such a serious self-introduction was very silly. After all, the other side knew who she was. Mu Qianlu stopped moving and said with a slight nod, What is it? Looking at her clear and bright eyes, he felt that she was especially cute in his heart. Even the corners of his mouth couldn't help but curl up a little more. Such a cute and pure girl was actually a male character with almost perfect maneuvering skills in the game. If he didn't see it by chance, he wouldn't have believed it. Well, President Mu, I want to take leave tonight. She blinked gently and said carefully. Fake. Mu Qianlu raised a brow, as his eyes revealed an understanding look. Luo Qingchen looked at his eyes and wanted to slap the table and tell him the so-called truth. But on the other hand, she also enjoyed the feeling of thinking that the other party knew nothing even though both of them were well aware of it. How could a single word of praise be so impressive? No, she shook her head and pressed her stomach. I'm on sick leave. My stomach hurts today. Mu Qianlu's eyes lit up as he thought, this little girl is quite smart. She knows that it's inappropriate for her to say that she's on sick leave, so she directly gave her sick leave. As the saying goes, if a female employee had a stomachache and the boss did not approve her leave, that would be too inhumane. Got it. Mu Qianlu's brows slightly twitched, but he pretended to be calm as he nodded. It had to be said that at that moment, their acting skills were worthy of an Oscar. System, if there's a plane that needs actors in the future, I won't decline. Hosts, you are so confident that you are about to ascend to the heavens. Then, President Mu, I'll go out first. She slightly turned around and let out a long sigh. But she never saw that man with deep eyes, his eyes never left her. Chapter 145. In order to show that she was sick, Luo Qingchen sat in the office in a daze the entire afternoon. Only when a group of men gathered at the door to look around did she finally raise her head a little. She saw a man wearing glasses behind her push forward a man wearing a checkered shirt with delicate features. The man looked around 25 or 26 with a head of golden hair, white skin, red lips, and white teeth. He was holding a bouquet of champagne roses as he walked over to her. Her colleague Xiao Chun pushed her arm and teased her with a smile. Qing, the school flower's charm has no limit. You're still this popular even after coming out to work. Xiao Chun was also her classmate in university, only the two of them didn't live in the same dorm, but they studied the same major. They were all original artists who could draw a piece of heaven and earth with just a drawing board. Who is this person? Luo Qingchen narrowed her eyes, trying hard to search the previous owner's memories. She felt a bit of an impression, but it also seemed like she didn't have it at all. Could it be a passerby? You don't know. Xiao Chun's eyes lit up as she looked at the checkered shirt man in front of her and said with a smile. He is the son of the marketing department's director, Bai Yan. He's also working in the marketing department right now and is the crush of many young girls. When Xiao Chun said this, she looked at him without blinking, and the corners of her mouth raised a faint smile. What? Did she hear wrong? What did she hear? Ah. Xiao Chun unwillingly looked back at the stunned Luo Qingchen and repeated. He's also working in the marketing department right now, there are many. Stop. Luo Qingchen cut her off. She blinked and asked, What did you say he was called? Bai Yan. Damn. Demonic year, young master. This was simply too much. This was the legendary meeting only between enemies. Hello Luo Qingchen. I quite like you that. Can I ask you out for dinner this weekend? He stopped in front of her and revealed a faint smile. His deep dimples had a youthful aura to them. Luo Qingchen put her hands in the pockets of her large red elk coat, her brows slightly raised and her lips curled into a smile. She looked into his eyes and asked with a deep meaning, "Tonight?" Bai Yannian was still holding the champagne rose, and his expression showed a hint of confusion. Originally, a colleague in the same department happened to find him looking at Luo Qingchen's QQ space, and then asked him to order a bouquet of roses to confess. After all, he, Bai Yannian, had the looks and background. As for Luo Qingchen from the design department, he had been in love with her for a long time. Although he was a little nervous when he first saw her, he had already calmed down after walking over here. He was used to flirting with girls. But he didn't understand why Luo Qingchen didn't accept his roses when she asked him for the date. And didn't they say it was the weekend? Why tonight? I have something to do tonight. What? Luo Qingchen's eyebrows moved slightly, and her lips curved into a faint smile as she interrupted him. Although in the past, why does it feel a little awkward? When the original host was being attacked by the keyboard warriors on the forum, Bai Yannian didn't participate. But in the end, it didn't change the fact that he was the instigator. Now that she thought about it, if Bai Yannian had participated, he would have known that the original host's photos were of her. Then the original host wouldn't have. Thinking of this, Luo Qingchen cut off her own thoughts. After all, no matter how good or bad the original host's mood was, she would have been knocked to death. This is life. Chapter 146. Luo Qingchen nodded her head casually and sat back down in her seat. She raised her eyebrows in an absolutely cold manner. Bai Yannian awkwardly scratched his head and said, "These flowers are for you." He didn't know why, but he felt that the atmosphere at this moment was even more awkward than when he was rejected. What the F***? But even though he thought that in his heart, he still had a smile on his face. Luo Qingchen's right hand gently picked up the flower teacup on the table, took a sip and said, "Sorry, I'm allergic to your flowers." There was nothing wrong with it. She was just allergic to his flowers. But it was different for other people. Okay. Bai Yannian awkwardly took back the flowers and looked at her and said, "I'll come pick you up after work tonight." "No need." She smiled faintly and said, "I'll go home and take a shower. I'll see you at the restaurant entrance." "That works too. What time will Qingchen arrive?" "How about 7? After all, the territory battle would start at 8. Even though he was a noob, he was still an expert. Killing a few weak noobs would be easy. Luo Qingchen glanced at him from the corner of her eyes and saw that he was in a difficult position. But after 3 seconds, he still nodded his head expectantly and said, "Feast restaurant, I'll wait for you at 7. But what they didn't know was that someone was watching the design department's every move through the camera. A faint smile appeared on his face as he clicked on the game icon on the desktop. At the same time, Bai Yannian was angrily walking down the corridor, but he didn't expect to bump into someone at the corner. "Are you King blind?" A sharp voice rang out, causing the entire empty corridor to shake. Bai Yannian impatiently raised his head and looked at the person in front of him. His eyes instantly became disdainful. He crossed his arms and said, "Oh, so it's Sister Yi from the General Affairs Department." He was familiar with the person in front of him, and he was extremely familiar with her. She was in her early 30s and still unmarried. She always wore bright clothes and looked extremely slutty. Not only did she have a loud voice, but she also seduced his father. In his eyes, his sister was a company parasite. Yinggu raised her head and stuck out her chest. She rolled her white face and said with a look of disdain, "Be careful when you walk next time. If you bump into me, Manager Bai's heart will hurt." She naturally knew that the person in front of her was the son of the person she had recently hooked up with. Although Manager Bai was a little old, he was good-looking and was quite generous to her. However, she did not like the person in front of her. Gigolo. You! Bayanian couldn't help but laugh. He shrugged and said, You didn't look in the mirror when you went out this morning? You little brat, say that again? Yingur raised her hand to slap him, but he firmly grabbed it. Bai Yen raised his eyebrows and the corners of his mouth curled into a disdainful smile as he said, Old sister, I'm no pushover. I'm afraid that you won't be able to deliver this slap. With that, he flung her hand away and brushed past her shoulder. He put his hands in his pockets and walked forward. His heart had been filled with anger because of Luo Qingchen's indifference, but now that he had found a punching bag, his anger instantly disappeared. In his heart there was even a bit of joy. Only, he never thought that his joy would last for too short a time. After all, he had been sitting in the feast restaurant and had waited until 7:50, but Luo Qingchen still hadn't arrived. He had been stood up. Chapter 147. She arrived home at 7:30 and bought a large cup of milk tea before heading to her bedroom. Opening the game, she saw someone privately messaging her as soon as she went online. Moreover, it wasn't a normal private chat, but rather a contracted chat. Contract. Thousand Snow Flowing Cloud. Come to YY, there's a Commander 2000520. Contract, Donghua Chenjin. Alright, wait a minute. Luo Qingchen gave a shrug, expressing that war guilds were troublesome. The most interesting part of Heavenly Sword was the territory war. The more points one obtained in the territory war, the more generous the rewards would be. Her casual guild before never participated in this kind of war, but it was different now. The territory war had a total of 3 large points and 8 small points. The 3 large points were Central State, Eastern Sea, and Rockhammer. As for the 8 small points, they were temporarily ignored because the most important thing for the expert guild was to take the large point. Of these 3 large points, the most important one was Central State. Therefore, there was a very appropriate phrase in Heavenly Sword. The one who obtained Central State was the most domineering. It had to be said, although Demonic Year Young Master was a bit of a noob, Sword World was still very powerful. For large-scale battles, the commander would decide the direction of the battle. Stealing points and defending points were also very particular and strategic. The previous host didn't have any information about the territory war in her memories, which meant that this territory war was her debut in Donghua Chenjin. After downloading YY, she casually applied for an ID and entered the room Thousand Snow Flowing Cloud gave her. Who would have thought that once she said room, her eardrums would tremble. The entire YY was filled with a deafening song, generous and impassioned. Guild Cold Moon Heaven Light. High-level players with a battle strength of 450,000 will enter the first group, those with a battle strength of 450,000 will enter the second group, and the rest will enter the third group. In this game, a team had a maximum of 50 people. Luo Qingchen clicked on Cold Moon Heaven Light's icon to enter the first group. As soon as she entered, she saw Thousand Snow Flowing Cloud's words appear on the screen. Team Thousand Snow Flowing Cloud. Cold Moon put Eastern painted in the first group. Team Cold Moon Heaven Light. Thousand Snow, you are clearly abandoning me. A team had 5 people. Thousand Snow Flowing Cloud's fixed team, other than him. Cold Moon Heaven Light, Sunset Autumn Light, Warm Light, and Sweet Smile. With 2 healers and 3 damage dealers, they could kill their way into the enemy's ranks as if there was no one there. Team Sweet Sweet Smile. I'll go to the second group. Team Cold Moon Heaven Light. Don't. As Thousand Snows bound healer Yenran, you should stay in the first team. Me as a single person, I'll go. As soon as his voice of Thousand Snow Cold Moon Cold. Of the heavens, Lu Thousand Snow, Thousand Snow Moon, Thousand Snow. Life, player, huh? When did Yi Qingma come to Drunken Dreamland? Demonic demon was she demonic was she was sword? Team, life written in water. Eastern painted, let's go kill him. Instantly, the leader Cold Moon Heaven Light transferred life written in water to the second group she was in. After transferring to the group, he didn't forget to say, Team Cold Moon Heaven Light, as a healer, can you take care of healing me? Brother won't just bring you to kill a demonic young master, brother will bring you to kill the entire sword world. Team Warm Light Flower Wall, Poochie, awkward face. Cold Moon, when did you become this shameless? Chapter 148. Because the one who took the central state point last week was Sword World, they were mainly focused on defense this week. Drunken Dreamland needed to attack. Luo Qinchin directly turned off her vibrating cell phone and sucked in a few large pearls. She sat up straight and waited for orders. She only saw a commanding voice come from YY. The first group will attack with Central State. The second group will defend Rock Hammer. The third group will attack the small point, Don't Touch East Sea. Last week, Drunken Dreamland took the Rock Hammer, so the second group only needed to defend. As for why they didn't attack East Sea, it should be because the Falling Flowers guild that took the East Sea last week was in an alliance with Drunken Dreamland. But this wasn't the main point. The main point was that Luo Qinchin had already used the godly 1,000 miles, and used the pink gold wings worth 28,000 renminbi to fly towards Central State. Ding dong. The moment she landed, there was a message from the contract. Contract. 1,000 Snow Flowing Cloud. You're not changing your title? Luo Qinchin was a bit stunned. Seeing the incomparably domineering title above her game character's head, she couldn't help blinking her eyes. What was with this title? She felt it was quite handsome. Only the top 3 of the martial arts conference had this title, alright? Top 3? That meant that demonic young master also had this title. No, she wouldn't change it. Contract, Donghua Qinjin. Alright, I'll change it. In the next second, she changed the title at the top to another, like Summer Flowers, server's only title, Treasure Pavilion Master. This title came from your collection of clothes, accessories, mounts, and wings in the game. For Luo Qinchin, who loved beauty, she felt it was very suitable. Contract, 1,000 Snow Flowing Cloud. Mu Qian Lu on the other side of the computer slightly knit his brows as he thought, this girl really doesn't understand romance. Contract, Donghua Qinjin. What, this isn't good either? This title isn't repeated in the server. What isn't good about it? Action, player 1,000 Snow Flowing Cloud, has used the Princess Carry on you. She only felt the computer screen suddenly shake, and she could no longer operate it. Taking a closer look, at this very moment, she was a handsome young man who was being held in the arms of a man with 2 large swords on his back. Indeed, it was a bit awkward to look at. Contract, 1,000 Snow Flowing Cloud. Change it to mine. Luo Qinchin stared blankly, her line of sight fixed on the top of 1,000 Snow Flowing Cloud's head. In the next second, she couldn't help but blush. He was wearing the title of Donghua Qinjin, a couple for a lifetime. Contract, Donghua Qinjin. Ah? Okay, she couldn't help but feel a little shy, but she still changed her title to 1,000 Snow Flowing Cloud. Forever one couple. Contract, 1,000 Snow Flowing Cloud. MN. If they were to form a contract, they could carry each other in a princess carry without asking. Contract, Donghua Qinjin. Okay. I've never been contracted before, so I'm not sure. So, what else could he do? In the next second, she felt incomparably regretful for asking such a question, because the prompt that suddenly popped up made her body tremble. Action, player 1,000 Snow Flowing Cloud, has used a princess carry kiss on you. As the name implies, it was a kiss while being carried in a princess carry. This action was simply too cool. The only flaw was that the 2 men were doing this not far from a central province. Chapter 149. Contract, Donghua Qinjin. Pooh, this is also fine. Luo Qinchin expressed that not only was her face red to her ears in front of the computer, Her heart was also beating very fast. Contract, thousand snow flowing cloud. Mu Qian Lu replied before putting her down. He clicked on her profile picture to make the trade. System, player thousand snow flowing cloud wishes to trade with you. Yes/no. Yes. After the trade window popped out, thousand snow flowing cloud put in 3 things. The Love Bento Contract Skill Book, the Life and Death Contract Skill Book, as well as a large red elk coat for Christmas. God! This was actually a limited edition fashion coat that only had 1 set in the entire server. In her mind, it was a limited edition set that was released last Christmas. There was only 1 set and a man and woman had to buy it at the same time, starting at midnight. In her memories, the previous host had also waited in the wee hours to steal this coat, but it was a pity that her hand speed wasn't fast enough and it was instantly bought. She thought that the person who bought this coat would show off in the world, and then she would ask the buyer for a high price. It was a pity that the person who bought the only set had never appeared. It was like this set of clothes had never appeared in, like summer flowers. Contract, Donghua Chenjin. So you were the one who bought this coat? Luo Qingchen had a stunned expression. All right? The great god actually had the hobby of instant killing clothes. No wonder she didn't know who bought it at all. Contract, thousand snow flowing cloud. Contract Donghua Chenjin, but I can't wear this set of clothes. She expressed that although she had a hobby of collecting rare clothes, the men's clothes must have been taken by the great god. What did he mean by giving her a set of women's clothes? Did he want her to change her sex? Although Heavenly Sword seemed to have this function, she could just buy a sex change plastic surgery card from the market. If you want an older sister, you have an older sister. If you want a loli, you have a loli. Contract, thousand snow flowing cloud. I'll keep it for now, it might be useful in the future. Contract, Donghua Chenjin. Alright. She expressed that other than her sex change, she couldn't think of anything else that would be useful in the future. Contract, thousand snow flowing cloud. One of the 2 skill books, Love Bento, is used as a buff medicine. The other one, Life and Death Companion is a skill that can summon me at any time. Both of them are contract skills. Luo Qingchen's eyes lit up, and without thinking, she clicked on the Life and Death skill book. After all, this gave her the sense of security of having the Almighty at her beck and call. But in the next second, the angry roar of the commander in YY scared her. With a voice that sounded as if his throat was being torn apart, he roared with an incomparably powerful force, press in, press in. Thousand snow flowing cloud immediately got on his flying sword mount. Then, he pulled Luo Qingchen onto his 2-person mount, and rushed towards the front of the battlefield. As soon as they arrived at the front line of the battlefield, they jumped off their mounts in unison and instantly blended into the battlefield. Accompanied by the passionate singing in YY, the voice of the commander seemed to be even more inspiring. He roared, healer, heal, tank up, flowing light, heal and dispel crowd control, Jade Mirage, use your ultimate move, light blade, rush straight in flashy scattering. In the next second, a black mass of people rushed in. In several large-scale battles, both sides went back and forth, neither side gaining the upper hand. When everyone was fighting with their blood boiling, the words on the horn attracted Luo Qingchen's attention. Horn, demonic year young master. Damn, father is here. At this moment, Bayanian was in a simple and crude internet cafe near the Grand Feast restaurant. Sitting next to him was a burly man with his legs crossed. The air was filled with the unpleasant smell of smoke. However, in order to get online earlier and enter the territory war, he endured it. World, only love young master. Young master, you're finally online. I missed you very much. Horn, demonic year young master. Baby, I'm coming. Mua mua. Chapter 150. It had to be said, Sword World really was powerful. After all, in terms of skill and skill, Drunken Dreamland is Thousand Snow Flowing Cloud and the others should be better. Luo Qingchen stood at the back of the team, switching between light and dark forms. While dealing damage, she didn't forget to heal herself. This was because she felt that in this kind of territory war, Sweet Smile only had thousand snow flowing cloud in her eyes. She was in a completely free state. System warning. Player only Love Young Master is currently using the Bluebird skill to attack you. Damn. This only Love Young Master was crazy. Using a red blade in a territory war? Normally speaking, when two guilds were set as enemies, as long as they were in range of the other side in a territory war, they could attack and didn't need to use a red blade. After that, she aimed her mouse at only Love Young Master and jumped to her side with a flash. She instantly used a soul banner and exploded 3 soul beads onto her, leaving her with only a sliver of HP. But who would have thought that in that instant, a pink light would appear beside only Love Young Master and Demonic Year Young Master would appear by her side. AI still looking for helpers. The instant Demonic Year Young Master saw Luo Qingchen, he directly swallowed a rage pill and used the big move, Heavenly Flame Profound Ice Fall on her position. Luo Qingchen instantly used Void Flow to switch positions with only Love Young Master's noob and used Invincible Nirvana to wildly heal herself. Just as she was recovering her HP, several experts from Sword World had already surrounded her. She still had the Soul Mirror in her hand, but with all these people, she would still die. The large group was in the front, so there wouldn't be anyone to heal her and let her deal damage. She suddenly felt a bit unwilling. As long as there was a healer, she would have a chance to win. World, only Love Young Master. The shame you gave me, I'll return it all to you today. The instant the words appeared in the world chat, her Invincible Nirvana had already ended. Seeing that the Meat Shield Templar was about to use Thunder God Thousand Rend on her, she couldn't do a thing. However, since he was going to die, he had to die for a reason. She used a Soul Mirror to break Demonic Year Young Master's control skill. After locking onto only Love Young Master, she wildly used several peerless great skills that fell onto only Love Young Master. In less than half a second, only Love Gongzi fell to the ground. Area only Love Gongzi. Damn it. Men like you who kill girls are really shameless. After only Love Gongzi died, she didn't forget to blabber a few words nearby, and because she didn't dodge many of the skills, she only had a sliver of HP left. In an instant, a red-eyed light blade rushed towards her, intending to use a big move. She shrugged and smiled helplessly. Just as she was about to take her hands off the keyboard again, the HP bar above her head was instantly filled up. She was stunned for a full second before she turned off the cooldown of her blink skill and jumped to a safe position. At this moment, there was a figure wearing a large red elk costume that appeared in front of her, charging at Demonic Year Young Master. Without saying a word, he used a knockdown and followed up with a 3-star unparalleled skill to kill him. Because it was done too quickly, Luo Qingchen didn't even see it clearly. She turned her head to look around the screen, but she didn't see Sweet Smile or any other healers. Then who was it that healed her just now? With a strong curiosity, she opened the battle list and a pink notification caught her eyes. Battle, your contracted 1000 snow flowing cloud, has used Auld Lang Syne on you, recovering 52,000 HP. Chapter 151. But she didn't have time to think that much. As soon as her skills came off cooldown, she charged to 1000 snow flowing cloud's side and violently attacked him. The voice of the commander in YY shocked her ears, making her movements even sharper and making her blood boil. Good, very beautiful. We've won this wave. Everyone will charge into a central state and take the flag. The rest of you will gather in the capital before fighting again. After hearing the commander's final conclusion, Luo Qingchen let out a long sigh of relief. When she was prepared to press, Godly 1000 miles, to fly away, a prompt appeared on her computer screen. Action, player 1000 snow flowing cloud, has used a princess carry on you. After that, The man carrying her mounted the only 3 angel divine wings in the entire server and flew in the direction of the capital. To be honest, there was no one before, but there were people all around now. The large white and blue wings flew very low, attracting the shocked eyes of many players. The number 1 great god in the server carrying the number 2 great god. This could be considered a good story in itself. After all, this world was no longer a story of great gods and Xiao Bai, rather it was a battle between great gods. How novel! How exciting! How thought-provoking! But why were the 2 of them both men? Team Cold Moon Heaven Light, Zhe. Thousand Snow, your princess carrying Eastern painted is a bit of an eyesore. Team Life Written in Water, I think it's quite good. Team Cold Moon Heaven Light. Life Written in Water, did you seriously heal your good brother just now? Team Life Written in Water. Nonsense. I'm about to die, but I still used Moonfall Sweet Rain as instant healing skill on you. Of course, other than the team, the people in the world chat who saw this scene also had something to say. World. Once upon a cool breeze. Did you see Great God Thousand Snow carrying Great God Eastern painted in a princess carry? I took a screenshot, I'll send it to you for free. World, Candy Consort, where? I want to go and watch. World, Lemon Heart, you're taking screenshots of this eyesore? Are you crazy? World, Rain God, Lemon Heart, what does it matter to you? Young Master's shameless lackey. World, Demonic Year Young Master. Rain God, he. After the territory war, Young Masters, chasing the wind for 1,000 miles, will make you cry. Chasing the wind for 1,000 miles was a tool that could be used to search for coordinates in the merchant shop. Once the location was found, it could be used to directly head there and kill people. As the name implied, it was a tool used to chase and kill people. World, Rain God, yo, come on. I'll be waiting for you at the guild encampment. Join my guild if you can. Young Master is shameless. World, only love Gongzi. Gongzi, don't argue with him. I'm really glad that I'm with you and not with that transvestite. World, Demonic Year Young Master. My dear wife. What was that? Transvestite? He actually dared to call her a transvestite. This was simply intolerable. A host, he's not completely wrong. Your character is indeed male. The system spoke to her out of the blue again without warning. F***CK. Broken system, did Demonic Year Young Master feed you rice and you're speaking for him like this? Luo Qinchin was furious. She heavily typed a few words on the keyboard. Contract, Donghua Qinjin. I'll go offline for a while and come back right away. Contract, Thousand Snow Flowing Cloud, alright. After saying this, she opened the merchant shop and quickly bought a plastic surgery card. After right-clicking on the item, she immediately exited and returned to the character login screen. Calling her a transvestite, if she was a male character, she wouldn't be worthy of this title. Chapter 152. Returning to the character login screen, Luo Qinchin went to Taobao to buy a face creation data. Large 3D games allowed you to create your own face. She changed her gender to a female lowly and pinched a cute face. A little lowly with a bun, big eyes, long eyelashes, white skin, and pink cheek. She was a living little lowly beauty. This cute appearance filled her young girl's heart. She nodded in satisfaction and clicked on the login screen, returning to the game. The first thing she did when she came online was to open her bag and put on the elk Christmas dress that Thousand Snow Flowing Cloud gave her. She had a large red coat, a green skirt, 2 cute antlers on her head, and a small string of delicate bells on her waist. She only knew that she was very cute, but she didn't know that the moment she came online, she lit up someone's world. He never thought that the incomparably cold her in the game would actually buy a sex-change plastic surgery card. He only felt that the moment he saw her, it touched the softest part of his heart. Mu Qian Lu on the other side of the computer didn't even think as he directly used a princess carry on her. A Princess Carrie kiss. Not bad. The scene was much more harmonious. A young swordsman with a red robe like fire was holding a cute little loli in his embrace. How could a single word describe it? Ding, affection has increased by 10. Mission completion rate is now 50%. Powerful, my little loli. Luo Qingchen looked at her cute appearance in the game and listened to the system's voice. She deeply understood that the 100 renminbi spent on the gender change card was not spent in vain. Horn Donghua Qinjin. Right-click on my avatar and look at last year's Christmas dress. I won't cheat anyone. Oh, intersection. Oh. Without knowing why, she just wanted to sell her cuteness. She wanted to see demonic year young master's reaction and see the reactions of the people in the world chat. Her heart was beating like a little deer, but without knowing why, she suddenly felt a bit of expectation. World, white pinwheel, damn. What was this situation? Did great god Eastern painted change people? World, stars in the night sky. Stun face, she became a loli? World, little rabbit in the zoo. So cute. This loli is so cute and her clothes are so beautiful. Sob, the rabbit loves it so much. World, little dowdo. Didn't great god Eastern painted say that he likes men? World, candy consort. I always thought it was just a casual remark. Oh my god, was he bent? PFFF. Luo Qingchen thought, the words of the melaneating crowd are still very sharp. Horn, demonic year young master. So disgusting, I really want to vomit. Horn listened to the wind blowing. What's wrong? Do you have the face of a young master? Haha, that asterisk. Horn, demonic year young master. Are you even a man? Don't bring in my wife when you speak, otherwise father will chop you to death. Horn, cold moon heaven light. A guild that lost Zhongzhou has the nerve to talk about slashing people. Horn, sword elegance. The territory war is not over yet. Cold moon, aren't you saying this a little too early? The wind-reliant sword on the bugle horn was Lightblade, who was ranked 4th in terms of combat power. His control was first class, and other than his combat power being inferior to Thousand Snow Flowing Cloud, he was on par with him in all other aspects. He was a character, the commander of Sword World. He wasn't arrogant or impatient, but he was rather low-key. Horn, cold moon heaven light. I'll be waiting for you at Ancestral Dragon. Ancestral Dragon was where their guild's flag was placed, which was the center of Zhongzhou. There were only 5 minutes left before the territory war was over, but when Drunken Dreamland thought that they would win this week, Sword Elegance used the team summon skill and opened the transport gate hidden in Zhongzhou. Chapter 153. Team Donghua Qinjin. Quick Team Summon. Team Summon, as the name implies, is a small team of 5 players with the ability to summon each other. At this time, Team 1's Sweet Smile and Team 2's Cold Moon Heaven Light were both at Ancestral Gragon of Center. As long as one of them summons, that person can summon the next person. Everyone's summon cooldown is 15 minutes. Team Thousand Snow Flowing Cloud. Sweet Smile summons me. The next second, the system Thousand Snow Flowing Cloud used the team summon skill to summon you to his side. Yes/no? The moment Luo Qingchen pressed yes, she discovered that they were standing on the roof above Ancestral Gragon. Below them were densely packed enemies with red names. Because Ancestral Gragon of Center had already been planted with the Drunken Dreamland's flag, it had a protection function. When the Drunken Dreamland's guild leader activated the protection function, Ancestral Gragon of Center would not be attacked for a minute. Team Cold Moon Heaven Light. We don't even have 20 people, how can we fight? Team Thousand Snow Flowing Cloud. The protection time still has 30 seconds. Team Sweet Smile. The majority of the team needs at least 2 minutes to fly from the Imperial Capital to Ancestral Gragon. In other words, we need to delay here for 1.5 minutes. Team Warm Flower Wall, it's so hard. Team Adonghua Chinjin, there's no harm in trying. As soon as her voice fell, Luo Qinshan calculated the time when ancestral Greygon's protection would expire. She directly used Void Flow to switch places with the most conspicuous sword elegance. Thousand Snow Flowing Cloud instantly understood her meaning. He violently beat up Sword Elegance on the roof. Cold Moon Heaven Light and Sweet Smile also quickly joined the battle. In less than 10 seconds, due to the smooth chain of control skills and the enemy's healer not being there, Sword Elegance couldn't even use Flash and was directly killed. Luo Qingshan's goal was very clear. First kill the commander, so that the commander could not see the situation on the battlefield and could not make the most accurate judgment. For example, at this very moment, after using Void Flow, she instantly used Void Flow to open up the formation outside Ancestral Greygon. She didn't expect that a group of high-level warriors would crazily chase after a little lowly wearing red clothing. Half of the people rushed to the stairs and stopped, while the other half chased after Luo Qinshan. Due to the high combat power of the dozen or so opponents, although he had dodged many of their skills, he still accidentally hit the opponent's movement speed reduction. She saw a group of people rushing up to her and unleashing their peerless 3-star moves. It was as if they were afraid that they wouldn't be able to kill her. They were extremely ruthless and didn't hold back at all just because she was a little red lowly. Luo Qinshan knew that she couldn't run away. She instantly activated Invincible Nirvana, intending to delay Team Gao for a while. After the skill ended, she took 2 big moves in a row. She used Soul Mirror to dispel the crowd control and took a step back. The HP bar above her head only had a little more than 1000 HP. Just when she felt that even if 1000 Snow Flowing Cloud were to appear by her side, she would definitely die. A system notification gave her hope. System 1000 Snow Flowing Cloud used the Life and Death Companion skill to summon you to his side. Yes/no? She instantly pressed yes and disappeared from the encirclement of the high-level warriors. Just as she was summoned to 1000 Snow Flowing Cloud side, her HP bar was instantly healed back to full. She only felt that her scalp was somewhat numb because they were stepping on a dense mass of corpses. There were also 70 to 80 red names in front of them. The group of high-level warriors that killed her just now were probably rushing over here. This was really a chance at life amidst an army of 10,000. She didn't know why, but she was actually somewhat nervous. Contract 1000 Snow Flowing Cloud, I will protect you. Chapter 154. Luo Qinshan already didn't have time to type in response to his words as the enemies charged at them. Their first targets were still the healers. Sweet Smile, Warm Glowing Flower Wall, and Life written in water. If they continued to attack, in less than 30 seconds, they would all be sacrificed. But if they defended and stood beside the healers to protect them, they could drag it out for a minute. But doing this, it was very easy for them to stop the enemy from planting their guild flag in Ancestral Dragon. Taking points in a territory war was the same as taking points on the battlefield. The person taking the point couldn't use any skills and needed 5 seconds to do so. When Ancestral Dragon was about to turn into the enemy's color, Luo Qingshan's fingers quickly pressed the Void Flow on the keyboard. She locked onto the person with the flag among the several dozen people and directly changed positions. She didn't care that much, she would buy 5 seconds if she could. A group of people who wanted to take her head surrounded her. The other people in her team were protecting the 3 healers. Only 1000 Snow Flowing Cloud appeared by her side. He was full of rage pills and firmly stood in the center of Ancestral Dragon, releasing a red and gold glow from his body. It was like he was saying that as long as someone dared to take a step forward, he would instantly release the 1000 flashy scattered blades. As long as there was a pile of corpses and a back. Nearby, Demonic Year Young Master. Kill your way in for me, kill your way in. After that, Demonic Year Young Master released a heavenly flame in their direction. The two of them moved at the same time, and the only direction they were moving in was very clear. It was towards Demonic Year Young Master. After all, Demonic Year Young Master was standing there without moving. Was he typing? They saw that Thousand Snow Flowing Cloud didn't even think as he used a big move on him, killing him without any mercy. Luo Qingchen on the other side of the computer slightly raised her brows. She could feel that Thousand Snow Flowing Cloud was releasing a killing aura that was decisive and terrifying. Nearby, Demonic Year Young Master. I'll fuck your mother. Life Written in Water, not far away, found that the two of them had low HP and directly used a thousand-leaf lotus dance. It was like she was on a skateboard as she charged in their direction. Green fluorescent light surrounded them, replenishing their health. However, the enemies were no fools either. A group of players charged forward to control Life Written in Water, interrupting her skill and throwing their ultimate skills at her face, killing her instantly. The whole process took less than 2 seconds, so much so that Luo Qingchen didn't even have time to react. In the next second, Cold Moon Heavenly Light charged into the crowd and unleashed a Heavenly Fire Mystical Ice Fall. With 2 loud bangs, the scene's special effects were fully displayed. Countless ice arrows smashed down in the direction where Life in Water had fallen. The people who had surrounded Life in Water to kill her all fell to the ground. Although Cold Moon Heaven Light and Demonic Year Young Master played the same job, both being void mages, their stat points were different. Demonic Year Young Master focused on attack and Cold Moon Heaven Light focused on critical hit and defense penetration. As the name implied, it meant that Demonic Year Young Master's small skills hurt and his large skills were weak. On the other hand, Cold Moon Heaven Light's Heavenly Flame Mystic Ice Fall had a 100% critical strike. Adding on the fact that it could break defense, its power was simply terrifying. Horn, Cold Moon Heaven Light, you hit my nanny? You don't want to live anymore? All of you come together. Just as the enemy was about to beat him up, the large group of players from Drunken Dreamland arrived. Because Thousand Snow Flowing Clouds group had already taken care of a group of people before they arrived, when they arrived, they had an absolute advantage in numbers. They killed everyone and took the Central State Ancestral Dragon. After 3 minutes, the territory battle ended. Drunken Dreamland had taken the 2 large Central State and Rock Hammer. Chapter 155. In an instant, the world exploded. World, stars in the night sky. Congratulations, Drunken Dreamland. World, listen to the wind blowing. Congratulations, Drunken Dreamland plus 10086. World, normally love dreaming. Great God Eastern Painted is truly strong. In the first territory war she went to Drunken Dreamland. Drunken Dreamland took 2 large territories. World, Demonic Year Young Master. What are you showing off for? If it wasn't for Father being stood up by the goddess, would that transvestite have taken anything? You really are making this young master's teeth fall out. Pooh. Luo Qingchen thought. Bai Yan's words are definitely wrong. If he knew one day that the goddess and transvestite he mentioned were 2 different people, his face would turn green from anger. The system also thinks this. System, you don't want to eat their family's rice? The system doesn't eat rice. The system said that one day, if the system wasn't turned into a pile of parts by someone, it would be angered to death by its host. Luo Qingchen deliberately gave a casual nod, giving the system a cold shoulder. She blinked in a daze. While receiving the high rewards for the territory war, she looked at the Sword World Commander's words on the horn. Horn, magnificent sword leaning. Selling this account, light blade with a battle power of 485,000, no account. World, King of Assassination, Sword World S Commander wants to sell his account? World, different fireworks. You're embarrassing yourself. Great God Magnificent Wind is considered a high-level battle. I feel that there isn't a problem with the commander this time. The main thing is that Sword World has a worm. Horn, Demonic Year Young Master. magnificent wind, what do you mean? Horn, magnificent sword leaning, I just don't want to play anymore. Horn, demonic year young master. He, truly funny, you only have this bit of ambition. World, magnificent sword leaning, because it's a bit long, I'll send this to the world chat. Everyone knows that I joined Sword World earlier than you. Everyone also knows that the commander has a wage and it isn't low. The previous chairman gave me $10,000 a month, and after he sold his account, I didn't want to stay. But as a senior member of Sword World, I have feelings for the guild, so I still stayed. And it wasn't a short period of time. It was half a year. During this time, the salary that demonic year young master promised me, you didn't give me a single cent. World. Rain God, what the F***? Fenghua has no salary? World, candy consort. Doesn't demonic year young master say that he's a rich second generation every day? Why is he still in arrears? Show his face. QQQL. Horn, elegance with sword. Thank you to all the veterans of Sword Reliance. After all, I was also at fault. Everyone knew why the former president was number A. World. Only love beautiful legs. Oh my God. So demonic year young master really stole the contract from the previous chairman of Sword Reliance. So Muga didn't play anymore? Horn, demonic year young master. Don't you dare slander people. Horn, sword elegance. Everyone knows about this. The people in the world and the Horn kept being amazed by the past while Luo Qingchen was secretly laughing on the other side of the computer. Jane. Straight. Live. He deserved it. If she was in the company right now, she would definitely charge in front of Bai Yen Yen and ask him, how did it feel to be the target of public criticism? Contract. Thousand snow flowing cloud. Did you receive the invitation to Heavenly Sword anniversary celebration? Mu Qian Lu on the other side of the computer had his assistant confirm it again. Heavenly Sword was going to a one-year anniversary meeting and Luo Qingchen was also there. Luo Qingchen saw this and her lips couldn't help curling. This great god wanted to meet her. Chapter 156. Heavenly Sword's anniversary celebration invitations would be sent to the top 3 players in every server and every player could bring a friend along with them. Luo Qingchen obviously planned to bring Yi Qingma along, but who was Thousand Snow Flowing Cloud planning to bring? Thinking of this sentence, she couldn't help but think of the side quest that the system gave her, this side quest that she had no clue about. Contract, Donghua Chenjin. That, can't you bring one person? Who are you bringing? Contract, Thousand Snow Flowing Cloud. Who do you want me to bring? Yeah. Great God's words were a little interesting. Luo Qingchen thought for a while and decided not to be pretentious and directly typed a few words on the keyboard. Contract, Donghua Chenjin. How about bringing Cold Moon? Contract, Thousand Snow Flowing Cloud. Okay. Contract, Donghua Chenjin. Great God, you agreed just like that. Aren't you going to ask Cold Moon? Contract, Thousand Snow Flowing Cloud. No need. Previously, he begged me to bring him along. PFFF. Seeing Thousand Snow Flowing Cloud's words, Luo Qingchen couldn't help but laugh out loud. Looks like they were thinking of the same thing. Although it seemed like her mission completion rate was only 50%, she felt that this plane gave her a very different feeling. At least, it was very warm. Just as this kind of feeling surged through her heart, warm light flower wall's words in the guild instantly pierced her heart. Guild, warm light flower wall. Thousand Snow, are you there? Why didn't you respond when I messaged you? Guild, Thousand Snow Flowing Cloud. What's wrong? Guild, warm light flower wall. Sweetheart doesn't seem too happy and is crying in YY for a long time. The guild channel was deathly silent. Until Thousand Snow Flowing Cloud typed a line of word. Guild, Thousand Snow Flowing Cloud. Got it. Luo Qingchen wasn't an idiot. Naturally, she could tell that Sweet Smile was interested in Thousand Snow Flowing Cloud. But she was really too embarrassed. After all, she was the closest person to him. But what she didn't expect was that the person who contacted her a few minutes later wasn't Thousand Snow Flowing Cloud, but Sweet Smile. PM, Sweet Smile. Is Great God Eastern painted here? How should she put it? She didn't dislike this nanny. She didn't seem like a girl who would buy and buy for the rich. Instead, she was a girl who had excellent skills and was even a little cold. Private chat, Donghua Chinjin. Yes, I am. Private chat, Sweet Smile. I'm sorry to bother you. I think I said something wrong just now and made Qianxue unhappy. He should like you very much. Help me talk to him later. What I said to him just now was nonsense. Don't take it to heart. Luo Qingchen heard these words that couldn't be any more tactful and felt a bit stunned. She should be glad that she was a girl and had the same logical thinking ability as Sweet Smile. Otherwise, there was a 90% chance that she would not understand what Sweet Smile was talking about. Private, Donghua Chinjin. Yes. So what did you say? Haha, could it be private chat, Sweet Smile? Don't say it out loud. I already feel very embarrassed. That Great God Eastern painted, your lowly is very pretty. Luo Qingchen, who was on the other side of the computer, raised her eyebrows and smiled. She suddenly felt that the feeling that Sweet Smile gave people was really not bad. Private chat, Donghua Chinjin. And thank you. Then, I will pass on the words that you want to pass on. Private chat. Sweet Smile. Thank you, Great God Eastern painted. That. There is one more thing that I want to say. Private chat. Donghua Chinjin. What? Private chat. Sweet Smile. That. I am also a Fujoshi. A male and male couple, pretty good. Chapter 157. She was exhausted from the territory war, and Luo Qingchen didn't even want to do her daily life. After saying good night to the great god, she crawled into bed to sleep. When she went to work the next day, she stood in the elevator and saw a man and a woman running in her direction. The two of them entered the elevator at the same time, and then there was a ding sound. It was overloaded. Do you understand respecting the old and loving the young? Bai Yan looked at Yingguo with long curly hair, wearing a large red dress and red and white high heels. He raised his brows and spoke in a voice of disdain. Do you understand ladies first? Yingguo specially copied Bai Yan's tone and rolled her eyes. She crossed her arms and didn't have any plans of walking out. Hey, one of you two go out. What is going on? The other people in the elevator were a bit impatient hearing their conversation. After all, they were all rushing to work, and if they were delayed by a few minutes, they would be late. Luo Qingchen was standing in the back, holding back her smile. She had an indifferent expression as she watched this embarrassing performance. What AF asterisk King B asterisk TCH? Bai Yan spat out. He deliberately leaned over and spilled the coffee he had just bought onto Yingguo before walking out of the elevator. Yingguo jumped up and angrily pointed at Bai Yan as she cursed. Little brat, just you wait. Bai Yan put his hands in his pocket as he looked back at her. He gave a shrug of disdain and said, such a fragrant cup of coffee being spilled in such a dirty place, it really is bitter. You. Yingguo wanted to say something, but the elevator doors had already closed. After 2-3 minutes, the people in the elevator all walked out. There was only Luo Qingchen and Yingguo left. They seemed to be going to the same floor. Hey, are you from the design department? Yingguo was wiping the coffee stains off her body while snappily saying to Luo Qingchen, go to the general department and bring my spare clothes over. Then leave your jacket for me, hurry up. Luo Qingchen's first expression was stunned, all right? This idiot was talking to her? Hey, are you deaf? Can't you hear? Luo Qingchen looked at her ferocious and anxious face for the second time. She turned her head and said with a smile, okay. After saying this, she had a cute smile as she helped Yingguo open the zipper on her back. She watched her take off her dress, leaving only her bra and panties. She casually took the dress in her hand, and the corners of her mouth curved into a meaningful smile. In the next second, she pressed the button on the elevator door that had been left in place. Without another word, he jumped out of the elevator. When Ying-go in the elevator saw the door open, she took a step back in fear of the light. "You? What are you doing?" Ying-go never thought that an intern in the design department would dare treat her like this. She pointed at her nose and said, "Leave the clothes behind." I won't. Luo Qingchen made a naughty face and said, "If you have the ability, come out and chase me." She had originally planned to ignore the matter and stay out of it. But this supporting female lead was courting death, so she couldn't be blamed. "You just wait for this old lady." Ying-go gritted her teeth and said, "You're planning to pack up and leave tomorrow." Luo Qingchen's eyes slightly lit up as she looked at the embarrassed Ying-go and said with a smile, "I'll wait for you." She only had one word in her heart right now. Chapter 158. Luo Qingchen casually hung Ying-ji's dress in the hallway and headed towards the office. Who would have thought that as soon as she arrived, she would see the person she stood up last night? He dared to specially come and block her this early in the morning. Xiao Chun, who was in the same department, saw her figure and hurriedly walked over. She looked at her with a worried expression and said, "That Bai Yan, who asked you out yesterday, seems to be quite angry. You should talk to him properly later." Hearing Xiao Chun's tone, she really gave a few laughs into the sky. It was like she and Bai Yan were a couple. The girl stood up the south and even asked for forgiveness. Please. She was the one being chased, all right? The one being loved didn't need to apologize, all right? Although, in Bai Yan's heart, she wasn't considered the one being loved. At most she was a pretty vase. Bringing her out would give him some face. Morning. She casually walked over to her seat and opened her KFC breakfast while turning on her computer. She didn't even look at Bai Yan beside her at all. Bai Yan was filled with anger when he came to the design department to find Luo Qingchen, wanting to see how she would pitifully apologize to him. But what happened was completely different from what he imagined. Luo Qingchen not only didn't mention what happened last night, she acted like it wasn't related to her at all. This kind of cold treatment made him swallow the words he wanted to say when they reached his throat. After a few seconds, the words that came out became, "Did Qingchen have something to do yesterday so she didn't come?" Hearing Bai Yan's words, Luo Qingchen felt an indescribable joy in her heart. Coo. She slightly looked up and her clear eyes looked at Bai Yan as she gave two soft coughs and said, "I wasn't feeling well yesterday, so I asked for a leave of absence after working overtime. After I came home, I took a shower and fell asleep on the sofa. I'm sorry I made you wait for nothing." To be honest, she normally wouldn't pretend to be weak. After all, she felt that she was very strong. But acting weak at this moment was completely a trick. #make the other side apologize to you even when they're filled with anger. Bai Yan was stunned. Looking at her pale face, he couldn't help but feel apologetic. When he first arrived, he seemed to have heard from Xiao Chun that she was sick last night and asked for leave. It's all my fault. If he hadn't asked her out, she wouldn't have been thinking about dinner when she was feeling unwell. I'm the one who should be embarrassed. It's my fault for being too casual. Bai Yan awkwardly scratched his blonde hair and laughed. I wonder if I'll have a chance to ask Qingchen out for a meal next time. Of course. System notification. Passerby A is nearby. Just as she was about to agree and continue to stand him up, a system notification flashed through her mind, interrupting her words. Oh my God, you scared me to death, okay? The system helplessly made a non-existent bitter face. The reason why it reminded her was because the host always said that it was wise with hindsight. This time, it had to give him a reminder before his favorability was deducted. It had to be a useful system. Luo Qingchen knew that Mu Qianlu was nearby, so she sat up straight. She blinked a few times and thoughtfully nodded as she said, "Of course it's not that good. It's mainly because the design department has been busy lately and everyone is working overtime, so there might not be much time." That's right, I heard that your Heavenly Sword game is about to release a new character. Luo Qingchen could clearly feel that when he said the two words, Heavenly Sword, Bai Yan's eyes lit up. It was a look of confidence. Chapter 159. Ding dong. An email was sent to their inboxes at the same time. The moment Luo Qingchen opened the email, her eyes lit up and her lips curled into a smile. To all the employees of V Group, in order for the game Heavenly Sword to develop better, we will be holding a game exchange meeting at 2 p.m. today. The development department will provide internal accounts and a dedicated internal server for the competition. The champion will receive 5,000 renminbi, the runner-up 3,000 renminbi, and the runner-up 1,000 renminbi. The registration deadline is 12 p.m. today. We hope that everyone will actively participate. Haha. Bai Yan looked at the email he received at the same time on his phone and couldn't help but laugh excitedly. This was a competition that was tailor-made for him. Even if he didn't talk about his own operating skills in the entire server, at least in the V Group, his operating skills were definitely top-notch. The champion's prize money was just like something in the bag. It was too easy. Maybe it was because he laughed too loudly that he attracted the attention of many people. Qingchen, do you have anything to do in the afternoon? This kind of scene where he could show off his power naturally had to be seen by his goddess. The prize money and his goddess would all belong to him. It was as if the heavens were helping him. You want me to watch your competition? Luo Qingchen nodded slightly with a faint smile on her lip. Luo Qingchen looked at his expression that looked like he had picked up 5 million renminbi. She was trying her best to hold back her laughter and pretend to be calm. Qingchen, you're so smart. Bai Yan smiled confidently and said, if you watch my competition, maybe you'll see a different version of me. She couldn't help but smile in her heart. After all, she had seen the different version of him that Bai Yan was talking about countless times. As the original artist for the new character, I also want to sign up and take a look. Luo Qingchen's fingertips moved slightly and pressed the sign up button at the bottom of the email. When this sentence came out, Bai Yan was stunned. He never thought that Luo Qingchen would want to participate in this kind of gaming activity. Shouldn't goddesses like to go shopping, watch movies, and buy clothes? Okay. Bai Yan nodded with a smile and said, when the time comes and whoever bullies you, I'll help you torture them to death. Pfft. Baby doesn't need a handicapped person like you, okay? However, she naturally kept these words in her heart. On the surface, she still looked at Bai Yan with a smile and said, let's wait and see. Less than an hour after Bai Yan left, Yinggu rushed to the design department to find Luo Qingchen to settle accounts. At the same time, Mu Qianlu saw Yingji's figure in the hallway and walked towards the design department. Luo Qingchen, right? You motherf asterisk cur. Before she could finish her sentence, she froze on the spot. The reason was because she saw Mu Qianlu standing behind Luo Qingchen, looking right at her. Luo Qingchen didn't know at this moment. She turned in the direction of Yingji's voice and saw Mu Qianlu standing behind her. She felt her heart skip a beat. As she took a deep breath, she could smell the faint scent on his body. Mu. President Mu. Yingji's face was filled with awkwardness. After all, everyone in the design department was looking at her with knit brows. Mu Qianlu's hands were in his suit pockets as he stood in front of Luo Qingchen. His beautiful eyes were slightly narrowed and sparkling, as his body was covered in a cold aura that kept people away. That Bai Yan dirted my clothes first. That surnamed Luo, he actually. My clothes. Her words couldn't form a complete sentence, and she couldn't explain the situation at all. She stood there alone, just like a clown. Mu Qianlu's eyes narrowed dangerously, as if he was blowing the horn of death. He softly said, you don't need to come tomorrow. Chapter 160. Mu. Director Mu. Yinggu wanted to say something, but she was already sent out by Mu Qianlu's beautiful assistant. After Yinggu left, the design team leader quickly came forward and politely said with a smile, "Director Mu, are you here today to see the original art for our new character?" "No, I'm here to see someone." The corners of his lips curled up into an elegant smile. He walked towards the door, leaving behind a confident and straight-back view. Luo Qingchen looked at this back for a while before her lips curled into a sweet smile. "Did we do something wrong?" Xiao Chun on the side looked a bit nervous. This was her first time seeing Mu Qianlu come to the design department, and it was hard to see him normally. The design team leader also had a doubtful look and her face was a bit pale. She anxiously looked at everyone and said, "Our manager is on a business trip right now and the design department is under the big boss management. Everyone should be a bit smarter no matter what you do. Otherwise today's Yi Inggu will be tomorrow's you." Without knowing why, when she heard the deep words of the team leader, she felt it was very special. Funny, because she knew that Mu Qianlu fired Yi Inggu for her. Right. She was just that confident. At noon, she and Xiao Chun ate a few sandwiches before heading to the leisure area for the competition. It had to be said, the V Group's employees' leisure area was quite good. The internet leisure room had everything. There was a computer, a sofa, and drinks. It was no different from a high-class internet cafe. As expected, the people who entered this company didn't want to leave. The competition started at 2 and it said that there were over 100 people participating this time. They would draw lots to decide their opponent. Luo Qingchen drew Huoyen from the sound department. She didn't know who he was, but she wasn't afraid at all. Qingchen. A familiar voice that she didn't want to hear came from not far away. She slightly knit her brows and unwillingly turned around. She nodded with an awkward smile. But Bai Yan in front of her didn't feel this at all. Rather he began to talk with excitement. "Although you are the original artist for this game really isn't that simple. It's very important whether it's the technique or the combination of skills." Bai Yan's expression was as if he was a godlike figure. If she didn't know the capabilities of the person in front of her, she would have been deceived by him. "So?" She raised an eyebrow and smiled. She didn't seem to care at all. Bai Yan was stunned. He was completely unable to react to Luo Qingchen's nonchalant words. In his heart, Luo Qingchen shouldn't have said, "I just thought it was fun to try it out, that's all." Or, "It's fine as long as you guys play well, I'm just here to join in the fun." Or, "I'm actually here to watch your performance, that's all." But no matter what the answer was, it shouldn't have been such a frivolous and confident so. After a while, he smiled awkwardly and said, "I will protect you. Don't panic." "Thank you, but I really don't need it." After saying that, Luo Qingchen walked towards the stage without looking back. All that was left was a faint and disdainful smile, and a cold and elegant back view. Bai Yan's heart was filled with anger. He could only grit his teeth and think, "I'll let you see how handsome I am later." She sat below the stage and was basically surrounded by guys. On the stage there were 2-on-1 duels. This kind of duel was definitely not like a team battle. There were no healers, so the battles were faster. Chapter 161. The competition continued and no one knew what job the other side would use to PK. This was because all the accounts and jobs, including the runes and divinities, were all in the Heavenly Sword account. This made the competition seem even more fair and professional. Bai Yan went on stage earlier than Luo Qingchen and took care of his opponent in around 2 minutes. Compared to the other employees, this was already considered very fast. Yan is so strong. Xiao Chun on the side looked at Bai Yan with a face of infatuation. Her entire person was in a state of infatuation. Hearing Xiao Chun say this, Luo Qingchen felt like there were 3 crows flying over her head. She only saw her lips curl into a helpless smile as she said, "You haven't played this game before, what are you signing up for? You don't understand this." Xiao Chun revealed a bright smile. She crossed her hands as she looked at Bai Yen on stage. She said with a smile of an infatuated girl, "I want to experience the feeling of being oppressed by a great god." Great god? Luo Qingchen helplessly shook her head. She crossed her hands in front of her chest and shed a tear for Xiao Chun's ignorant life. Not everyone in this world could be called a great god, alright? If Bai Yen's skill level was called a great god, then wouldn't Mu Qian Lu be a god among gods? After Bai Yen finished his match, the next person to go on stage was Luo Qingchen. When they passed each other, Bai Yen revealed a confident smile. He looked at Luo Qingchen and said, "If he dares to oppress you, Big Brother will help you oppress him." Luo Qingchen revealed a faint smile and didn't reply. She just sat down and quickly adjusted her divinity and skill shortcut. After a minute, both sides chose their lineup. The opponent Hui Yen chose a long-range physical damage job, which was called Flame Sky in Heavenly Sword. This job was similar to Demonic Year Young Master's Void Jade. He also used large skills to deal damage and small skills to deal control damage. Luo Qingchen didn't even think as she chose Li Guang. After all, this was a job that was close to being invincible in duels. The main reason was that she didn't know any other jobs. It was all the system's fault. When she exchanged for Li Guang's skills, it didn't give her anything else. The system spread out its non-existent hands. How could this be blamed on it? As soon as the battle started, she used Soul Ban to trap her opponent on the spot. Then, she used 3 soul orbs to deal a critical hit and took away almost 2/3 of Hui Yan's HP. Hui Yan was stunned for 2 seconds. He wanted to release the control, but he didn't expect that Luo Qingchen's fingertips would move so fast that it seemed to defy the natural order. In less than half a second, after A Void Flow, I followed up with A's Soul Guiding Death, and took away his opponent's entire set. The whole process took less than 30 seconds. Luo Qingchen used an inconceivably fast speed to easily end the match. All he needed to do was to record his faint smile and the dumbfounded faces of the audience. F***CK. Heavens! This is too much! What happened? So fast? That Yen Tian didn't even use a single skill. Who is this person? She's so pretty and her skills are top-notch. The audience kept talking and Luo Qingchen's heart couldn't help blooming a little flower. When she sat back down, Xiao Chun beside her looked at her with a look of disbelief. She couldn't help swallowing her saliva as she said, Qing, I didn't know that you were this good at games. Remember, only this is worthy of being called a great god." Although it was a bit narcissistic, Luo Qingchen felt that Xiao Chun could put the label of great god on Bai Yen. It was understandable that she was a bit narcissistic. Chapter 162. On the other side, Bai Yen, who had just walked up from below the stage and had yet to sit down, was stunned on the spot. What had just happened in that instant? Why did he feel a sense of déjà vu? Also, his goddess had finished off her opponent faster than him. He felt a little embarrassed, however, due to his confidence in his looks and techniques. Bai Yen pulled on his blue and white tie. His entire body was filled with energy, waiting for the battle to begin. After an hour, there were less than 20 people left on the stage. Luo Qingchen had always been quick and decisive in every battle, ending the match very quickly. However, Bai Yen was different. First of all, the Void Jade class was most afraid of tanks that were hard to control, similar to the Templar class. The more he fought, the more the audience could see Bai Yen's techniques and routines. If he wanted to win in a short period of time, it would become even more difficult. Until, when he only had 100 HP left, the heavens blessed him with a star sword, and killed the opponent's Templar. And his next opponent was the female goddess Luo Qingchen that he spoke of. Qingchen, you play Li Guang quite well. Bai Yen, who was sitting opposite her, didn't forget to praise her before the match began. I know. Luo Qingchen coldly replied, not giving the other party any face. "Hurry up and call me brother, I'll let you win." Bai Yan's words were, on one hand, to show off his masculine charm, on the other hand, to give himself a way out. It wasn't that he didn't see Luo Qingchen's techniques just now. She was simply a god-level character. Moreover, in terms of PK, the Liguang class in this game was almost invincible because she could both deal damage and heal herself. "Don't." Luo Qingchen's lips curled up into a faint smile. Her watery eyes looked up at him and said, "You'd better fight to the death. If you win, it's on me." It had to be said that Luo Qingchen's words made Bai Yan feel nervous. He really couldn't lose. Or maybe she was saying that he couldn't afford to lose. If he were to lose, how would he face his goddess? Luo Qingchen yawned and saw a familiar figure from the corner of her eyes. She could tell who it was in that instant. Could it be that this god was worried that she would lose to Bai Yan and had specially come to cheer her on? No, the great god shouldn't know that demonic young master is Bai Yan. In the next second, Luo Qingchen felt her heart skip a beat. Was the Almighty here to participate in the competition? Oh my God! The great god was robbing the working people of their livelihood. Before she could finish grumbling in her heart, Bai Yan teleported in front of her, intending to use a set of small skills on her. She jumped back and instantly pulled the distance between them. Then, she used a control skill to firmly imprison him in place. Although Bai Yan's skills were rough, he wasn't a newbie who had never played games before. He still steadily used Dispel, and then used Starfall to control Luo Qingchen, followed by Heavenly Fire Mysterious Ice Fall. Luo Qingchen thought that this person was too impatient. She calmly teleported away and placed a soul mirror beside him. She directly followed up with a soul bead and released a chain of 3 critical hits. Seeing that Bai Yan only had a sliver of HP left, Luo Qingchen didn't chase after him. Rather, she used a invincible nirvana on the spot, letting her body that was already full of HP be covered in a layer of golden light. Chapter 163. Luo Qingchen had completely defeated Bai Yan in less than a minute. The entire arena was filled with excitement. Even Xiao Chun, who was looking at Bai Yan with infatuated eyes, turned to look at Luo Qingchen. After Bai Yan came down from the stage, his brothers all came forward to tease him. "I never thought that an internet-addicted youth like you would lose to a little girl. Moreover, this is the girl you want to chase. Big brother, you won't be able to keep your face this time. Go, 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 let's go drink. Let's get drunk and forget all this unpleasantness." But how could Bai Yan be in the mood to drink at this moment? He really felt that he had lost all his face and wanted to find a hole to hide in. The player who ranked second in the battle strength ranking of Like Summer Flowers actually lost so casually to an unknown girl in the company. He couldn't accept this. "All of you scram for me," Bai Yan roared out, scaring the surrounding people. As soon as his voice fell, he walked over to Luo Qingchen with a heart filled with rage. He looked at her and said, "Can we have another match? Unhumph?" Luo Qingchen slightly raised her brows with a relaxed look on her face. "Qingchen, you also know that the Liguang job is invincible in duels." Bai Yan's face was filled with dissatisfaction, but his tone was still very good. After all, the person in front of him was a goddess. He could only smile and say, "You don't want to use the Liguang job, how about we have a match?" Damn. This Bai Yan wanted to cause trouble. System calling the system. If you want to exchange for job skills, the corresponding exchange points will be deducted. System, you wouldn't be raising the price, right? The system isn't this kind of system. Luo Qingchen thought about it. How could she completely defeat Bai Yan? After a second, she had an answer. As long as she completely defeated him with the same job, it would be considered a complete defeat. "Is the host certain that you want to exchange for the Void J job skills?" Yes/no. Yes. Very certain. Ding, 500 exchange points has been taken. Successfully exchanged for the Void Jade job skills, limited to this world. Sure. Her lips curled up slightly and her eyes were filled with confidence. She looked at him and said, "Let's wait for them to finish fighting." After all, the other players were still fighting. He didn't want to affect them. But what she didn't expect was that in the next second, a magnetic voice entered her ears. It was different from the voice that was as cool as water, but it was deep and elegant. It was really nice to listen to. Just turn on 2 more computers. Mu Qianlu walked over from not far away with a faint smile on his lip. His deep eyes sparkled as he looked through her layers of defenses, seeing through her eyes. Luo Qingchen felt her heart skip a beat. She unconsciously became nervous. Director Mu. Everyone instantly stood up when they saw Mu Qianlu with smiles on their faces. Actually, this included Bai Yanyan, who wanted to fight to the death with Luo Qingchen. Mu Qianlu nodded as he spoke with a faint gaze. The computers for the competition area on the right have been set up. This way, please. The beautiful assistant beside Mu Qianlu came forward with her signature smile as she spoke to the 2 of them. The current Bai Yanyan was filled with confidence. He walked in front of Luo Qingchen and arrived at the competition area before her. If it was said that he was playing around before to show off in front of the goddess, then in front of Mu Qianlu, this was the best chance to show off. Chapter 164. Luo Qingchen looked at Mu Qianlu, who was casually standing to the side, and felt a bit nervous. Her palms were no longer covered in sweat. Although with the system in her hands, she had this view in the world and she wasn't afraid. But this was the first time her male god was watching her play in real life. Moreover, she had just exchanged for the Void Jade skill, so it was normal for her to be nervous. She saw Bai Yanyan confidently sitting in front of the computer like he had been injected with chicken blood as he used his skill points. Luo Qingchen looked at the Void Jade character panel and her lips curled. She switched from the fire type that she usually used in duels to the ice type. The Void Jade was a very flexible job. Compared to the Liguang, the Void Jade should be more popular. This was because it was a job that had 3 different types, which were the fire type, ice type, and thunder type. Fire type was a duel. Ice type was a support type. Thunder type was a dungeon type. Most of the people who played the Void Jade in this game were of the fire type. They thought that the fire type could deal high damage, but that wasn't the case. After all, the fire type, Void Jade, mainly dealt damage and had very little control, so it was very easy for the enemy to kill it. But then ice type was different. The reason why this type could be called a support type was because the skills of this type all had control. It had to be said, in the previous host's impression of the server's number 1 Void Jade should be the ice type Void Jade. That control and critical hit was very exciting. Then why couldn't she do the same? After 30 seconds, both sides adjusted their shortcuts and entered the game. Bai Yanyan took the lead and flashed behind Luo Qingchen. He saw her use a small ice seal skill to freeze him in midair. Because she had a critical hit divinity and rune, although it was a small skill, it still hurt when it froze people. Actually, this kind of Void Jade wasn't without its drawback. The biggest drawback was that as long as you were hit by the enemy's instant kill skill, you might die before you could even kill the enemy. So, this was a very skillful type and normal people couldn't play it. Because there were too many skills to dodge, if one wasn't careful, they would lose all the advantages they had accumulated. He might even lose the entire game. However, Luo Qingchen didn't seem to give Bai Yanyan such a chance. Her near-perfect maneuvering dodged all of Bai Yanyan's skills. However, it had to be said that Jade Void was different from Liguang. Liguang could switch to light to heal himself. He always felt that there was a way out. Jade Void was different. As the most fragile DPS class, it would be difficult for her to survive if she was hit with a full attack. Not to mention the ice element Jade Virtual Realm, which didn't have any major outbursts. However, at this moment, Luo Qingqian's smooth operation blinded everyone's eyes. She was practically circling Bai Yannian as she attacked. One control skill after another, not giving Bai Yannian the slightest chance to breathe. Until the last small skill would hit him and take him away. At this very moment, Luo Qingqian's ice element, Hollow Jade, didn't lose a single drop of blood. This was the legendary complete slaughter of a player of the same class. Ah! Wow! Almost at the same time, all of the employees present shouted at the same time. This was a shout from the bottom of their hearts. This was a kind of respect for the strong. At this moment, Bai Yannian's eyes were still filled with dissatisfaction. However, he knew that whether it was in terms of maneuvering, technique, or skill linking, he and Luo Qingqian weren't on the same level. Chapter 165. At the same time, Luo Qingqian could feel two different gazes, one from Bai Yannian and the other from Mu Qianlu. There was no need to mention Bai Yannian. This kind of gaze was filled with unwillingness and helplessness. But Mu Qianlu was different. His deep, dark eyes were filled with curiosity, and there was a bit of pampering in his ink-black eyes. Without knowing why, his heart that was as calm as water in the past would be filled with waves the moment he looked into her eyes. It was always said that a girl was the most moving when she was serious, and his contract seemed to be the same. Seeing her sitting in front of the computer with her fingers flying over the keyboard, her large eyes were completely focused on the screen. Occasionally she would knit her brows, but it didn't affect her performance at all. In the end, she only left the other side with a faint smile. This kind of feeling was really good. This kind of contract was really not bad. Ding, affection has increased by 10. Mission completion rate is now 60%. Luo Qingqian was stunned. When the system's voice sounded in her mind, she looked right into Mu Qianlu's eyes not far away. His brows slightly moved and he narrowed his eyes as he stood in the crowd. The unique aura around him was very dazzling. Luo Qingqian couldn't help feeling that this kind of great god was suddenly standing in front of her. It was a bit distant and realistic. Although Bai Yannian behind her was very unwilling, he could see the difference between him and Luo Qingqian. Since he had lost the competition, he couldn't lose his demeanor. Qingqian, you're very powerful. He walked over in a bit of embarrassment. Standing in front of her, he was filled with a sense of defeat. I know. She nodded, not denying it. You should have played this game before, right? Bai Yannian's eyes lit up as he looked at her with a smile and said, Which area, we can play together. Luo Qingqian thought. Yo, now you want to play with this treasure. Why didn't you play with this treasure on the battlefield? Why didn't you play with this treasure when you bullied this treasure in the territory war? Why didn't you play with this treasure in the world chat? This treasure also knows how to get angry and have small emotions. There's no need. Her eyes slightly lit up. Seeing Bai Yannian's slightly stunned expression, her lips curled as she said, After all, we are enemies and not friends. With that, she gracefully turned around and walked in another direction. Bai Yannian was left behind with a face full of confusion. An enemy, not a friend. What does that mean? Could it be that Luo Qingqian is also in like summer flowers? On the other side, Luo Qingqian had attracted countless onlookers before she even sat down. Sister, you were so awesome just now. It's a pity that you don't play League of Legends. If not, we can also play King of Glory. Our team just so happens to be lacking in DPS player. Sister. Luo Qingqian just nodded with a smile, not saying anything else. After all, the competition was still going on. She easily won the rest of the matches, until she dismissed all the employees and thought that she could go on stage to receive her bonus. The host spoke, Congratulations to Comrade Luo Qingqian from our original art department for entering the finals. What? Finals? Shouldn't he be congratulating her for winning the championship? Ahem. The host cleared his throat and said, In order to make our competition more interesting, our V Group's President Mu will also participate this time. In the next second, the crowd was in a heated discussion. President Mu also knows how to play Heavenly Sword? He's just here to join in the fun. Ah, I can finally see President Mu. Why are you so love-struck? You guys don't know, but President Mu used to be the most handsome guy in C University. He was my senior. Luo Qingchen couldn't help but feel that her focus was not on the same dimension as the spectators. Chapter 166. There's no harm in trying. Mu Qianlu saw her stunned face and spoke in a gentle voice. He just wanted to see just how powerful his contract was. Of course, if he was completely abused by her, he would still enjoy being abused. Ha, 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 all right, Director Mu. Luo Qingchen could clearly feel her lips twitching when she smiled. It was like she was playing Monopoly and she was only a step away from the finish line. Then a bomb card came out of nowhere and sent her flying, moving back a few steps. She really was drunk. She saw Mu Qianlu walk onto the stage in front of everyone. She looked up at him, and it was like she could see a trace of pampering in his smiling eyes. She took a deep breath and walked onto the stage to sit down. She drank 2 mouthfuls of the matcha milkshake that Xiao Chun had bought for her. She sat up and adjusted her state. During this time, she didn't forget to talk to her system. System, do you think I can win against Mu Qianlu? 50-50. The system coldly replied. You mean that your skill explanation isn't strong enough? I want a refund. The skill explanation exchange itself came from the copy of the strongest player in the Heavenly Sword server. The system guaranteed that it wasn't talking nonsense with a straight face. Can't you be a little more straightforward? This means that if the host wants to exchange for the Light Blade skill, it will be the copy of Mu Qianlu's character. Your skills will be the same as a mirror. Damn. System, you're praising the male lead? No, you're praising the passerby as the server's #1 Light Blade skill? This is the truth. Luo Qingchen gave a shrug and didn't respond to the system. After all, she also thought this. Mu Qianlu chose the Light Blade skill as expected. In order to increase her chances of winning, she changed her Li Guang's defense break to critical hit. It was mainly to prevent herself from being left with low HP. When she switched to the Light Blade skill, she could instantly heal herself with critical hit. The moment the match began, Mu Qianlu's lips slightly curled. He didn't show any mercy as he sent out a setting wind wave, controlling her in place. He instantly sent out a wild kill to take a third of her HP. She guaranteed that if the other side wasn't Mu Qianlu, she would have been able to dodge this wild kill. After all, even if it was Mu Qianlu, she had lost her HP while she was in the air. After that, she wasn't willing to back down. A Soul Ban, followed by a Soul Bead to take a third of the other side's HP. Mu Qianlu's smile as his eyes' smile as well. He was the same. When he pressed the release button, his mouth was hit by Luo Qingchen's Soul Bead. Wow, there was cheers. Tisk, tsk. President Mu is so good at games. This is what a fight between immortals looks like. After 3 minutes, Mu Qianlu found a chance to control her and instantly followed up with a fierce light kill. Luo Qingchen's heart skipped a beat. She instantly used the only CC removal skill, a light wall. She then used Invincible Nirvana to heal herself to full HP. But she knew that although she was full HP, she was at a disadvantage because all her skills were on cooldown. Instantly, Mu Qianlu rushed forward and knocked her to the ground with full HP before quickly using the big move, 1,000 flashy scattered blades. 7 hit. If she didn't release the CC, she would die without a doubt. But when Mu Qianlu hit all 5 hits and Luo Qingchen only had a sliver of HP left, he stopped. She saw that he had 2 large swords on his back and was covered in a golden blood-red glow as he used a blood battle art in front of her, leaving him with a bit of HP. Instantly, Luo Qinshan felt her head buzz and her heart trembled. In that moment, he was standing in front of her like a demon from the heavens. He really was a god in the human world. He was so handsome that he seemed to be glowing. Chapter 167. Many years later, when she thought of this competition, her lips would still curl into a smile. After all, she felt that she had been teased. But after this competition, it wasn't like she didn't receive anything. Other than the $5,000, she had also received the Heavenly Sword Great God title and the gazes of many fangirls. She was also helpless, all right? As for Demonic Year Young Master, he had been quite active in the game recently. For example, tonight. Horn Demonic Year Young Master. M for the Dragon Spring Water and the Emperor's Ink. World, listen to the wind blowing. Young Master has been collecting things recently. Do you want to increase your battle strength? World, only love Young Master. I want a Chinese Valentine's Day themed dress. M for the Young Master. O intersection. O world, Candy Consort, only love Young Master, can you not be this shameless? A dress that costs $1,000, you're not embarrassed to ask someone else to pay? World, only love Young Master, are you jealous? World, Rain God, Candy Consort, ignore her. Biaozi with Go, forever. World, Dear West Sound, he. Horn Demonic Year Young Master, West Sound, you're back to play? Bai Yen on the other side of the computer was a bit excited. After all, Dear West Sound was his contract from before. He always liked her. She was gentle, cute, and was a student as well as looking quite good. Then because she went out of town for a few months, she didn't play games and cut off contact with him. Now that she was back, he didn't know why Demonic Year Young Master's heart was still throbbing. To be honest, since he had a contract with Only Love Young Master, he had spent quite a bit of money. What new clothes, materials for instance, and etc. As long as she asked, he would agree to everything. However, recently, he felt that this woman had become a little worse. The clothes she asked for were all limited edition and the price was heaven-defying. The most important thing was that he felt that when she talked to him, she must have used a cute girl voice changer. Moreover, she never gave him her phone number and never agreed to meet him. What was the point of this contract? Perhaps the photos were all fake. World, Dear West Sound, you still care if I'm back or not? World, Only Love Young Master, who are you? Yingji's eyes narrowed. She wasn't a fool. Naturally she knew the relationship between this Dear West Sound and Demonic Year Young Master. But why did this woman suddenly come back? PM, Demonic Year Young Master. Xinggu, you there? Private chat, Only Love Gongzi. And Gongzi, what do you say? I heard that you were invited to the anniversary celebration. Do you need a female companion? The nouveau riche that she had managed to hook up with after much difficulty was definitely not going to be snatched away. He had to make him waver before Demonic Year Young Master said the word, contract break. As expected, Bai Yan, who was on the other side of the computer, was moved. No matter what, this woman called Xinggu was considered the #1 beauty in Like Summer Flowers. If she was willing to attend the anniversary celebration with him, perhaps Donghua Qinjin and Thousand Snow Flowing Cloud would be jealous. Thinking of this, he changed his mind. PM, Demonic Year Young Master. Wifey, let's go together when the time comes. You're this beautiful, you can definitely suppress everyone. PM, Only Love Gongzi. Humph? She used a small hammer to hit you, yet you still don't forget your old love. Aggrieved face. PM, Demonic Year Young Master. Darling, aren't you thinking too much? I love you the most. If you don't believe me, look at the horn next. After a few seconds, there was a sentence that Demonic Year Young Master said to Dear West Sound on the horn. Horn, Demonic Year Young Master. Naturally, I don't care. After all, I have a wife, kiss. Chapter 168. World, Little Dodo, truly disgusting. A world, different fireworks. You don't even need to eat dinner. World, rain god, I don't know why when other people show off their love, I feel it's very sweet. Demonic year young master showing off his love, I feel it's very disgusting. Horn, demonic year young master, who cares about you? If you have the skills, come up here with the horn. Ding dong. Luo Qingchen was still leisurely watching the people in the world chat attack demonic year young master, but a clear message sound cut her off. Contract. Thousand snow flowing cloud, I'll come pick you up for the anniversary celebration. You're also in S City? Contract. Eastern painted brocaded. No need, I can go myself. I still have to pick up life written in water. The great god was coming to pick her up. That would shorten her lifespan, forget it. Contract, thousand snow flowing cloud. That's fine. It had to be said, Luo Qingchen didn't have much time to play games recently. After all, as the original artist for Heavenly Sword, it wasn't right for her to always take time off. Although she had taken time off many times. Most of the reasons were, Director Mu, I'm not feeling well today. Director Mu, my little sister has a fever today. Director Mu, my rabbit is sick today. Actually, the real reason was, going to the battlefield. Going to the territory war. Going to the country war. Until all the messy excuses had been used up, she had no choice but to obediently go back to work. But what she didn't know was that on a certain afternoon, the original department was having a meeting in the office. Yingguo had just returned to the company to pack up the things she left behind. She was very unwilling when she thought of how Luo Qingchen had caused her to lose her job. If she didn't teach her a lesson before leaving, her heart would be filled with panic. However, she only wanted to pour the drink on the original art she had just drawn, but she never thought that she would accidentally hit the mouse on the table and light up the desktop. She couldn't be more familiar with this page, Heavenly Sword. It wasn't anything since Luo Qingchen was the original artist for Heavenly Sword, so it was normal for her to be in the game. However, when she saw the ID, she froze on the spot. He's painting. Dust. Jean. She was actually Donghua Chenjin. How could Donghua Chenjin be a woman? She felt disgusted when she thought about it. Back then, she had planned to ride on Donghua Chenjin's coattails. Who would have thought that Donghua Chenjin was a woman? It was a good thing she was smart enough to change her target to demonic year young master, otherwise she would have been filled with regret. After a long time, when she recovered from her shock, the door of the meeting room was slowly opened. She hurriedly left Luo Qingchen's position and slipped away in the direction of the back door. Yingji's heart was filled with panic at this moment. Tomorrow was the Heavenly Sword anniversary meeting. Donghua Chenjin was the second-ranked player on the Like Summer Flowers ranking, so she would definitely be invited to the meeting. If demonic year young master saw such a beauty at that time, wouldn't the fat duck in her hands fly away? No, absolutely not. Thinking of this, she silently made a decision in her heart. She must not let Luo Qingchen attend the press conference. Her eyes narrowed and she gritted her teeth as she took out the phone in her bag to call her cousin who was a street thug. Cousin, help me kidnap a person tomorrow morning. After you kidnap her, drive on the highway and run as far as possible in the direction of our home. When this matter is over, send her back. Chapter 169. Yingji's plan went very smoothly. The next morning, Luo Qingchen was covered in a large sack as soon as she came out and was thrown into the back of the container truck. This was simply too much. Which little slut wanted to harm her? At the same time, the driver that Mu Qian Lu went to pick up Luo Qingchen was following behind the container truck while explaining the situation to his boss. Although Luo Qingchen had clearly rejected him in the game and didn't need him to pick her up. But being a gentleman, he still obtained Luo Qingchen's address from Human Resources and had the driver pick her up, wanting to give her a pleasant surprise. He never thought that the moment the driver arrived, he would see her being dragged into the car and quickly driven off. Who kidnapped her? Mu Qianlu's eyes turned cold on the other side of the phone, like the haze in his eyes could freeze everything around him. Even the beautiful assistant beside him trembled in fear, like she had met a ghost in the middle of July. I'm not too clear on the specifics, but they seem like street thugs. The driver closely followed the container truck, not daring to relax at all. He didn't forget to report while looking forward, "Boss, I'm going to the highway now. Follow." His brows twitched and his face turned dark. He quickly tapped on the computer and used unknown hacking skills to pull out all the surveillance footage near Luo Qingchen's home. As expected, it was like his driver said, the people who took his contract had come prepared. After that, his brows knit together. He followed the license plate and pulled out all the surveillance footage on the highway, finally seeing the car at the intersection of the Huaihai Highway. The recording was from 5 minutes ago, which meant that Luo Qingchen was already on the highway. This highway was an hour and a half long, so one couldn't stop or turn around on the highway. Just where did these people want to take her? License plate, MA 5807. Investigate who the owner is and all his friends and relatives. Yes, Director Mu. The beautiful assistant quickly turned on the laptop and began typing on the keyboard. After 3 minutes, she stood up and said, "The owner is called Yi Wei. He has a cousin who left the V Group a few days ago." "Yinggo?" "Yes, President Mu." His gaze was as deep as a pool of ink, as if he was blowing the horn of death. His aura was incomparably powerful. The next second, he picked up the car keys of the Maserati Ghibli and walked downstairs. Ding-ling, just as he got up, his phone rang. Looking at the caller ID, it was Cold Moon Heavenly Light, whom they had just exchanged numbers with yesterday. "Qianxue, you're not being nice. Didn't you say you'd send a beauty to pick me up? I've been waiting in the wind for so long that it's all messed up, okay?" Cold Moon Heaven Light complained into the phone. "I went to pick up Qingchen, something happened." Mu Qianlu slightly knit his brows as his heart suddenly filled with a bit of panic. This was the first time in his life that he had panicked. He was a little afraid that something would happen to her. "Who? Qing what?" "Eastern Painting." "Pfft, Eastern Painting's name is so girly. It's similar to the loli she molded." Cold Moon Heavenly Light laughed on the other side of the phone, not feeling the cold aura coming from Mu Qianlu at all. Let's talk later." After saying this, Mu Qianlu hung up without another word and walked out the door. The beautiful assistant quickly followed behind him and said, "Director Mu, I'll take care of this matter. I'll definitely bring her back safely. Heavenly Sword's anniversary celebration is about to begin." Chapter 170. Before Mu Qianlu even walked downstairs, he was surrounded by a group of reporters that came to attend the anniversary celebration. They all swarmed over with microphones, wanting to ask this young tycoon, who was already worth over 100 million, or wanting to take a few more pictures of him. "Director Mu, you should at least say a few words before leaving." The beautiful assistant lowered her head and said in a soft voice beside him. She was also a bit anxious. For Heavenly Sword to reach this point, there were many people's hard work. The anniversary conference this time was also the most dazzling result for Heavenly Sword's players and income over the past year. To be honest, she had followed Director Mu for many years, but she had never seen him disregard the big picture like this, insisting on doing things his own way. In her eyes, her boss was calm, steady, courageous, and astute. No matter what he did, he would always follow Plan B. He had reached an inhuman level of strategizing. She admired this kind of Mu Qianlu, looking up at him from the bottom of her heart. But the current him really wasn't like Mu Qianlu. His eyes turned cold and his brows tightly knit. The anniversary celebration was about to begin and the banquet hall was on the left. As the chief executive of the V Group, he had the responsibility and obligation to go in and say a few words. But at this moment, he was worried about that person's safety, which surpassed everything else. He knew that the container truck was already on the highway, and he couldn't catch up even if he sped up, but he still wanted to go. He still wanted to go in her direction and chase after her. Got it. After a while, he narrowed his eyes. His voice was as cold as stagnant water as he walked into the banquet hall. The host of the banquet hall was already introducing the experts of each server, letting them come on stage one by one. At the same time, Bai Yen was standing at the entrance of the banquet hall, waiting for his female companion, the number one beauty of the server. Without knowing why, his heart was a bit excited. The ID card and the 5-star hotel room card in his right pocket made him even more excited. It didn't matter if he couldn't chase the goddess. He had a contract with the number one beauty of the server. It seemed like he had found back the face he had lost a few days ago. But he never thought that before he could get his contract, he would see someone that made him feel disgusted. It was the old woman who had seduced his father and was kicked out of the company by director Mu Ying-gu. Oh, who was I? Old sister, you still have the face to come to the company? Bai Yen wasn't far away from Ying-gu, who was wearing a long golden dress. He didn't know where this fellow's confidence came from. He was already so old, yet he still liked to dress up gorgeously. It was an eyesore. Scram. Ying-gu rolled her eyes and crossed her arms as she said, "A piece of trash like you, you're only worthy of standing outside as a guest." Pei, everything had been going wrong recently. The incident with Luo Qingchen had not yet faded from her mind, and now there was trouble. "I'm sorry, old sister, but I was invited here. I'm different from you, who's here to sell your body for a higher position." Bai Yen gave a light humph and looked at her with eyes full of disdain. In his eyes, this kind of old woman was not even fit to carry his shoes. Being in the same space would pollute the air. "You!" Ying-ji's shoulder slightly twitched as she revealed a smile. "Just you? How could he be invited? Ha 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 ha, I'm dying of laughter. You don't even think about how you're lying." Chapter 171. Ying-gu narrowed her eyes. Seeing Bai Yen's angry expression and hearing his confident words, she actually believed him a bit. But if what he said was true, it wasn't a bad thing. Heavenly Sword, other than playing the game, spending money was also something a great god had to do. If Bai Yen was invited to the High Battle Week, it meant that he had spent quite a bit of money on this game. Thinking about it, that old man of his family really did have quite a bit of money. He could squander it like this. Che, so what? Ying-gu deliberately raised her brows and pursed her lips as she said, "My contract is definitely stronger than yours. For a noob like you, he can beat you with a single hand." Ha, ha, ha. I never thought. Old sister, you also play games? Bai Yen finally understood why he saw Ying-gu here, so she also played Heavenly Sword. After he gave a cold laugh, he continued, "I really don't know who was blind enough to have a soul contract with you. He must have blown up the Milky Way galaxy in his previous life." Ying-ji's face turned green from his words. She angrily stomped her feet and roared in a sharp voice, "It's still better than you. You don't even have a contract, aren't you embarrassed? What a joke." "I don't have a contract?" Bai Yen gave 2 laughs of disdain and said, "My contract is the number one beauty in the entire server. How can she compare to an old woman like you? This old lady is also the number one beauty in the entire server. How can I not compare?" Ying-gu patted her chest with a face filled with confidence. She was very confident in her appearance, otherwise there wouldn't be middle-aged people who liked her, young people who admired her, and the great gods of the game who liked her. This kind of charm, how could Luo Qingchen compare to her? "Don't make me vomit." Bai Yen shook his head with a smile of disbelief and said, "You're the number one beauty in the entire server? Do you think you're a ghost? There aren't many people. Did you give yourself that title?" "Pei, this old lady doesn't need to give myself that title. When this old lady's contracted young master comes, you can just wait to kneel down and lick his feet." After that, she walked into the banquet hall with her head held high in her 10-centimeter high heels. Bayanian furrowed his brows. His entire mind was still stuck on the words that the old woman had said a few seconds ago. Contract, young master? F***ck. Which shameless person would dare to call him young master? What a disgrace! He snorted angrily, picked up the phone in his pocket and called Shinga's number. After a while, a slightly coquettish female voice sounded. Hey, who are you? I'm Gongzi, your Xing. Bai Yan's brows furrowed slightly. This voice was very different from the one he heard on YY. But why did he still feel a sense of familiarity in such a different situation? Sob, darling, I was bullied by a bastard just now. You have to help me vent my anger later. Yingu didn't recognize the other side's voice for a while, and kept acting cute and pitiful. However, Bayanian could tell. At this moment, it was like his heart was being overturned by a sea of ice water, attacking his organs and making his breathing speed up. He only saw him walking towards the banquet hall. The hairs on his body were trembling and even his fingertips couldn't stop trembling. Until he saw Yingu sitting in a chair in the corner of the banquet hall with a phone in her hand. He was frozen in place. It was like the ceiling had been struck by lightning, it could explode at any moment. Chapter 172. Yingu sitting in the chair noticed Bai Yan's actions not far away. She felt that the sounds of vomiting seemed to be coming from her phone. Suddenly, a disgusting and unbelievable thought appeared in her mind. No, it's impossible. She told herself this. She tentatively stood up and walked in Bai Yan's direction. Before she even walked halfway, she heard Bai Yan roar out, "Don't come over here for me." This time, Yingu was certain. She felt her mind explode and instantly turn blank. Young. How could demonic young master be Bai Yan? How could such a thick thigh be this little brat in front of her? After a few seconds, she took a deep breath. She decided to completely ignore Bai Yan and walked towards the front row of the banquet hall. She had to be elegant, She definitely couldn't fall down because of Bai Yan and mess up her mind. After all, the people who came to the anniversary celebration today were all high-level representatives from various servers, they were all rich and powerful. She felt that with her beauty as a flower, she would definitely have a chance. Sitting in her seat, her lips couldn't help curling into a sinister smile. She suddenly felt that Bai Yan was a fool. Everyone in the company knew that he liked Luo Qingchen, but he didn't know that Luo Qingchen's in-game ID was Donghua Qingjin. He even helped her scold her. Thinking about it now, it really was satisfying. But this truth would never be revealed. After all, at this moment the so-called Donghua Qingjin was currently running on the highway. At the same time, Luo Qingchen on the other side spent an entire half an hour to untie her tied hands and feet. This group of idiots, tying a bow on her, don't they know that it can be untied with a pull? If it wasn't for the fact that her hands and feet weren't nimble, she would have untied it, all right? She had no choice but to scold her system at this time. In this kind of dangerous situation, the system actually didn't say a word and pretended to be dead. System, come out for me. Tell me, why didn't you save me from this danger? The host hasn't suffered any injuries. There's no problem. No broken arms, no broken legs, there isn't even a scratch. Which idiot kidnapped me? His methods are so rough and childish. Reporting to the host, the kidnapper is Yi Yingji's big brother Yi Wei. F***ck. Trash. Where am I now? Running in the middle of the highway. Pooh, this Yi Yingji's methods really were rough. However, I was more concerned about why she kidnapped me. Don't tell me it's just to get back at me for causing her to lose her job. That's one of the reasons. The other reason is that she accidentally saw your computer screen and knew that you were Donghua Qingjin. Damn. Not only is this old woman despicable and shameless, she even peeped at me. Does she really think that I'm a naive girl who doesn't know anything about the world? Maybe, with the system in hand, the world is mine, okay? The system. Did you forget to remind me of something? In the host's portable space, there is a gift from the previous dimension: teleportation canvas shoes. Oh, you have a conscience now. I want to take out the teleportation canvas shoes. Ding, successfully took out the teleportation canvas shoes from the spatial storage. She didn't know why, but at this moment she felt a little excited.